And welcome into the Wednesday edition. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you on this Wednesday morning, live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios. Home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Joe Rexrode, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. Just looking forward to PK today.
Yes.
I enjoyed some Stillian Poly yesterday.
I saw that.
That's
Your lifelong dream coming true.
It was good. I texted him afterward, and I was like, "That was good, guys." But don't be afraid to tell each other to F off every once in a while. I mean, Stilly he's just really loving being able to swear now.
He is.
Boy, he really enjoys it.
Leans into it. Ian Safar, how we doing? What's going on?
Oh, good morning. Watching a little Smash Mouth on Charmed this morning.
Oh.
So I'm getting things started off fantastic. Thanks.
Smash Mouth is
What a
on there.
band.
Wow. Yep, we're flipping
Another
the
band
Charmed
that's
right
better
now.
than the Beatles. Smash Mouth.
Yeah,
Line them up.
exactly. I like
Love Smash Mouth.
They were all right, man. Yeah,
The soundtrack of the late 90s, early 2000s, baby.
Yeah,
Who doesn't love Shrek?
Melissa Milano
Good point.
likes them too.
Yeah, she does. We got a lot of things going on the program today. Paul Kuharsky will be with us in the second half of the show. We will get into the happenings of the week with the Tennessee Titans, which include a coach firing. And by the way, Mike Grable coming back to town as well. So we will get into all that coming up throughout the show here today. Take your thoughts all show long. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. 615-737-1025. Joe, Mike McCoy spoke yesterday, now the interim head coach for the Tennessee Titans. And look, I watched the entirety of Mike McCoy's press conference. I thought he handled things fine. Thought he did a good job. I don't know that I walked away thinking to myself, well, the victories are about to start rolling in for the Tennessee Titans because Mike McCoy is now at the helm. But, I mean, look, you can tell the guy's been a head coach before, been around for a long time, and maybe this can mean good things for Cam Ward. We'll see what happens on that front. He brought up a couple times yesterday the different quarterbacks that he's worked with. He was asked about working with Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville and how maybe that experience helps him here with Cam Ward. They have not really gone into detail about some of the changes that apparently they're going to implement here, but we'll see what that looks like by the time the game comes around on Sunday. Overall, what do you think of Mike McCoy and his press conference yesterday?
Yeah, thought he did a good job, handled it professionally. Handled it, there was definitely some human moments in there. I guess probably the football / Cam stuff that was most, interesting. It's a cliche. It's said a lot, but I do think some coaches are a lot better than this than others, which is it's about players, not plays. That's actually a Vrabalism. Vrabel loves this, about players, not plays. But the point being, what does a player do? And then let's adjust to that and build things around that rather than, okay, player, here's our system, run it well. And I don't know that was like the issue, here with, the early start here to Cam's career. There's a lot of issues. And I still think as big as anything is just like, there's not very many good football players on this team. But I thought that was good to hear, and it will be interesting. Yeah, there wasn't a lot of clarity on things like that, but yeah, I thought he handled it well. And obviously it's still, it's interesting. It's like he's going to, address the team today, I think he said. And it is like, it's interesting to usually it's one of the coordinators, who gets the interim job. I was trying to think of like how many times have we seen a lot. There's more of like the analysts out there, like Shorts here and things like that, right? There's more of like the experienced coach who's an analyst, like a McCoy, who could fit into that. But I can't. I mean, you tell me. I don't have a lot coming to mind that weren't coordinators. Which means again, it's like the coordinators, at least for part of the team, they know them very well. They deal with them on a daily basis. They're in front of them all the time. This guy's today's like, hey, everybody, my name is Mike McCoy, and I'm your head coach. I was that dude over there kind of standing in the corner for a few weeks, and now I'm the head coach. But, I mean, not that it doesn't make sense. When you have someone like that, you can keep other people in their positions. Not that what they've been doing in their positions has worked very well, but still, you are being disruptive, and you're already getting head coach because, of course, your offensive line coach is out the door.
Well, and is the special teams coordinator get the job because they touch all aspects of the team, right?
Yeah.
And then you could get the special teams coordinator doing the job, and you're still not plucking away the offensive guy and the defensive guy.
Yeah.
So that's what you'll see a lot of times in this situation. But, I mean, it is nice to have, the analyst in there that has been a head coach where you don't really have to disrupt anything. I mean, look, the bottom line is this is basically why teams try to avoid firing a coach in season as long as possible, because it just creates a lot of things that do not help in a football season like this. Like, look, Bernard Wilson, Nick Holtz, Bones Fossil, like all these guys, they're not idiots. They know Brian Callahan's been fired now, and that probably means at the end of the year, unless there's just some sort of, miraculous turnaround and Mike McCoy goes nuts here and the Titans roll off some wins, that they're all going to be out of the job, right? Like they all know that. So, I heard Charles Robinson talking about this, and we'll have him on tomorrow on the show. He was talking about this on his Inside Coverage podcast with Siciliano and Frank Schwab, Yahoo Sports. Like, when things like this happen, you look around the building and all of a sudden, coach's doors shut in the office and they're sitting there trying to figure out where their next stop is going to be. And maybe the focus isn't where you need it to be and all these things. So this is why teams try to avoid this as long as possible. And bad news for the Titans is there are 11 games left, 11 this year to worry about all this.
Right. I mean, you get 17 opportunities in a year to say, hey, world, this is our product. And it's obviously been bad enough that they had to make this move or felt they had to make this move right now. But now they have to display that product 11 more times while making – yeah, maybe it does help. Maybe it helps just to get the Callahans out of there. I mean, I still it's interesting seeing all the Bill Callahan stuff out there, which I would tend to agree with. I mean, like the general NFL media is like, well, there's a bunch teams are going to line up to get that dude in here. And I know some people here, like I saw Keith Bulgater, like, really? Look at this offensive line. Like, yeah, I get it. It didn't go great. I'm going to probably default to decades of a career, pretty consistent evaluation of Bill Callahan. And again, even his last stop, right? And what was going on there was like, oh my God, this guy's a miracle worker. And think that, he's probably a good offensive line. But again, maybe it was like the end of the line for him. But whatever. I'm sure that we're going to see a whole bunch of people leave here, as we are used to seeing, and go elsewhere and do amazing things for other teams.
Oh, in the short term, if you're a Titans fan, like, most of the fan base was ready to move on from the coach. Like, I mean, I say that I can't assign a percentage to it, but I feel like it was most of the fan base.
Yeah.
Ready to move on from the coach.
At least like knowing it was going to happen at the end of the year.
And if you weren't feeling that way heading into the year, I mean, you saw some of the gaffes this year and you're like, okay, yeah, I could probably see why they were going to move on from the coach. So you've got that behind you now. I mean, you're kind of, if you're a Titans fan, it's interesting because on the one hand, Joe, that the season itself, I mean, they're 1-5. They're not good. They're not going anywhere this year. We all know that. But you also have your number one overall pick at quarterback that hasn't looked very good yet, and you want to see some progression and some growth here as the year goes along. So that's on the one hand that you're looking for that. And on the other hand, there are some Titans fans that are just like, hey, can we fast forward to the end of the year so we can figure out who the next coach is going to be? Yeah. Like, that's where a lot of Titans fans are right now as well.
And I understand that. And I know today we're going to talk about the potential next coach, and we'll probably a lot of days have some time to,
I would imagine so,
to talk about that. But that's the thing. When you have a Cam Ward, when you have the number one overall pick 6 games into his career, at least that makes the rest of the season worth watching, I think, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you hope, if it doesn't get better at some point, you're like, I can't even do this. But at least that's the intrigue. That's the storyline. And really, that was the prevailing storyline before any of this stuff happened with Callahan. I mean, it is the number one thing that matters about this organization is Cam Ward. So at least you got that. And we'll see if the switching it up can help him at all. But some of it is like he's got to play better. The offensive line has to play better. Also, we're going to see Are they going to trade a Calvin Ridley? Or are they going to keep a Calvin Ridley no matter what because they're trying to help Cam Ward? There's an interesting question. Got the trading deadline coming up. Lots of interesting things other than the draft.
JC Latham making the rounds on Twitter. Getting some Titans fans fired up a little bit. He tweeted yesterday at 9:06 a.m. So, of course, right after we got off the air, Joe, which is where everybody tweets and makes news.
Sure.
It says, quote, everybody pressing the panic button nowadays. That's the only thing he said. Everybody pressing the panic button nowadays, to which the responses from Titans fans are like, well, maybe if you guys could block, the coach wouldn't have been fired. Just like, all right. Good stuff, JC.
JC, so that's a little comment on Amy.
Huh? I guess.
Yeah. Between that and Cam Ward demanding grass.
The youngins around here.
I like it. I like it. Somebody's got to, Kuharsky can't do anything. He's out there crying about where she is and it doesn't work. So get somebody helping.
Where's Amy? That may be the first thing we ask him, Dave. Paul, do you know where Amy is today? She's still at home or is she on her way here?
I'm wondering if maybe Dennis could do like a Amy, but like as Waldo type thing.
Yeah.
We do that.
I mean, if Amy had a sense of humor to her, she'd show up this week in like a Waldo outfit. Just sit in the box.
That would be good.
Oh,
I heard, by the way, Stilly and Polly, my new favorite show.
Yeah.
They have a bet. I'd like to get your thoughts on this.
Okay.
Stilly is certain that Amy will not show up at the game Sunday, and they bet a $20 bill on. Kuharsky's like, yeah, she'll be there.
I've thought about that. I really have. I could definitely see her not showing up and not wanting to deal with all the variable stuff. But she's at every home game. I think she's at every game, isn't she? Like, yeah, she'll be there. I'll lean towards she's there.
I would too. I will lean toward that too. Also, on both sides of it, feeling a win.
Yeah.
Stilly feeling a win. Paul feeling absolute blowout city for Vrabel. Where are you on that?
Yeah, I think I'll lean more towards the blowout city on Vrabel.
You know what? I think I'm a little bit. I don't know, man. I kind of sense that this could get interesting. As weird as that is.
From the Titan,
yeah.
You think the Titans are going to play better?
I
than
think
you think?
fight to them.
I think the Titans might.
I did ask yesterday if they got any pride. You got any pride at all?
Huh? I mean, some of we know some of them do. Like Jeff Simmons is going to come out there. He loves Vrabel. They're going to hug before the game and after anything else. But Jeff Simmons wants to go out there, absolutely ruin his day, and he is playing right now at a level that he could go out there and mess. I mean, I've watched the Patriots fair amount. Like they're 4-2. Drake May looks good. They're not. They're not like a contender. They're
Jeff,
not. They've got some holes.
Jeff, please help me. Go sack the quarterback, please. Thank you, Jeff.
Let's head to our phone line. Welcome in David to the program. David, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Hey, good morning, guys. I think a lot of people have seen the billboard along Interstate 40, fire the CEO. I think it's time we have one in two-tone blue that says the same thing. Because until we get Amy out of the mix-up and Franker, we're going to be talking about this for the next couple of years. But anyway, thank you all. Love the show.
Thank you, David. Appreciate it. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. We are off and running today here on Robby and Rexrode. We got a lot of things going on. Paul Kuharsky will be with us in the second half of the program. We will get into all things Tennessee Titans with him. Mike McCoy speaking yesterday. We'll continue to react to that. Plus, the Vrapester is coming to town this week. And Titans fans, now that the coach has been fired, how are we feeling about it? We'll get into all that coming up next as well. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game.
said yesterday that you might want to implement some changes, work with Cam a little bit for some change. Can you maybe give us a kind of a broad idea of what you might like to see there?
Well, I think, we've got I'm a big believer as we go moving forward. You always got to think players and not plays. And I think we guys you look at this and we got to decide, okay, moving forward, and it's early in the week still. So each week you look at what a defensive scheme, what they're going to run, what do our players do best. So, we got to sit down and like we've done the last, couple hours this morning, getting into the game planning against a good New England team is what does Cam do best? And what do we do best as an offense? And that's going to be every week. So that's the big thing. When we go in there, we got to look at our scheme. What are we doing? And it's going to change from week to week on what we do best.
Guys, Mike McCoy, the new fearless leader of the Tennessee Titans yesterday, discussing his strategy moving forward and some of the changes that we'll see. Players, not plays, baby. We'll see some things, hopefully, that highlight what Cam Ward does really well out there.
I know it's not intentional, but on Sunday, Brian Callahan said, got to coach better, got to play better.
Yeah.
That's an absolute Vrabalism. And now yesterday, Mike McCoy says players, not plays. An absolute Vrabalism. They're they are rolling out the red carpet for young Mike Vrabel.
I think it probably explains that. The coaches in the NFL got to find some more verbose ways to describe things. Would be my advice.
Yeah, that might be good.
Can't all be Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah. What's his name in Miami? I think has some.
Yeah, McDaniel.
He says some weird stuff that's totally off the wall and is not
going well.
Not totally. It's going really well for him. But he's not a total coach speaker, I guess.
That's true.
Right? Yeah.
He's definitely not.
Now, if somebody this week says don't do stupid bleep to hurt the team, then we know it's the theme.
Don't do dumb that hurt the team.
I mean, Simmons,
dumb, not stupid.
Simmons said
I
that
forgot.
a couple weeks ago. Yeah, he was
he?
talking. Yeah, whenever he had his personal foul, I think it may have been week 1, like the Denver game. After the game, he was like, "Yeah, I can't do dumb stuff to hurt the team." And I was like, "Yeah, baby."
There it is.
On.
There it is.
I knew it'd be in there at some point. Good stuff. Let's head to our phone line. Welcome in Mark in Nashville to the program. Mark, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Hey, what's up, Robby? What's up, Joe?
What's up?
Time no talk. Long time no talk to. Boy, y'all really happy, aren't you, man? Y'all full of glee this week. Black Monday came early. It was either going to be Callahan got fired Monday or he's going to get fired after the Vrabel game. Because Vrabel, he's going to come in and run the Titans up out of Nashville. I hate to say it. It's personal. It's personal with him. So don't forget that, Joe. I know you want to see the Titans play better, but I don't see that happening, Joe. I really don't. But Callahan, I hate it for him, man. Joe, he'll never be a head coach or OC again, I don't think, man. He might be a quarterback coach. Somebody might give him a chance. Maybe he can go back up there and go to Zach Taylor and be the passing coordinator or something, whatnot. But I don't really know, man. But I mean, Joe and Robby, do y'all think this time that they're gonna go after offensive-minded coach, one that did call plays, one that does have experience, or are you gonna go find a defensive guy? I mean, you got Clint Kubiak out there. You got some good young OCs out there that could be a good head coach for the Titans. Which way do you think they're gonna lean? But hey, man, Joe, it's nice calling in with you. Nice talking to you, Robby.
Thank you, Mark.
Y'all think about that, man. See you later.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, it's been a minute. Good to hear from you, Mark. We're not what do you mean we're happy? Well, like we're pigs in slop because someone got fired. I'm not not happy.
No, I'm not excited that somebody lost their job.
I mean, look,
I have limited sympathy. He's going to be all right. He's getting paid. He's going to be fine. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I always feel for kids. Like kids go to school and they have to hear like their dad sucks and stuff like that. I mean, that's it's not their fault that anything happens. But yes, like these jobs do pay pretty well. Not happy.
Yeah, he's going to be all right.
Yeah, he's going to be fine. Now, for our purposes, I mean, I'd rather be talking about like big football games with good football teams. That'd be preferred. I guess talking about like who the coach could be, like Mark's asking us there, is
I'm kind of excited about that.
It's different. It's more interesting than like, hey, this team sucks. How much out loud? How much on the suckometer are we talking here? So
we're going to get into the coach.
Yeah, we will get into that
later in the show. I'm sure that's going to be a big part of what we cover with Kuharsky too. And in the 7:00 hour, I know we're getting into some of that. So we will definitely get into the coaching part of it coming up. I am interested because I've seen this from some Titans fans. We had somebody call in and say this yesterday. So if you're a Titans fan, I'd love to know where you come down on this. Look, Mike Vrabel, I think, is a fairly polarizing figure around here, right? Like there were some Titans fans at the end of his tenure who did not like Mike Vrabel and were ready to get him out of here and were glad to be rid of him when he was gone. There were other Titans fans that said, hey, this guy's a pretty good coach, and I don't know that he's the problem here. We probably ought to go make sure we keep Vrabel and bring some other people in there. Now, we all know how it's played out since then. You bring in Callahan, he gets fired. Vrabel is 4-2 up there in New England, and we'll see how the rest of the year goes and his tenure goes with him. But a good start for Vrabel in New England. We had somebody call in yesterday, Joe, and say, now I can actually root. I think it was Adam in Portland. It was like, now I can actually root for Vrabel to lose this game again. Now that Callahan's out of here, and I can root for the Titans.
Give me a good fan
now
again.
that Callahan's gone, we can root for Vrabel to lose this game. I am very interested, like, how Titans fans view the whole Vrabel thing now that it's played out the way that it has, with Callahan just being a disaster here. And Vrabel, albeit, it's 6 games, so I'm not going to overreact to Vrabel in New England yet, but it's a good start for Vrabel. And I think we know that Vrabel's a good coach, right? Like, did we not know that at this point?
Yeah, I think anybody who is trying to claim 6-18 his last 24, that is true. He's not perfect. He could not overcome what was going on with the roster, and he didn't do a good enough job at the end. But yeah, like if you're sitting here right now trying to argue that he's not a good coach, you probably should, like, I don't know, listen to a different show. I'm not trying to drive away a listener to like go, listen to like political radio, or I don't know, like
God, don't do that to yourself.
Well, yeah, don't do that. I don't know, like maybe some like easy listening.
Yeah,
something. It's stupid. It's stupid. Yes, he's a good coach. Is he a great coach? Let's see if he wins a Super Bowl at any point. I don't know. He's a coach who has an incredible knack for coming into a huge game that his team's supposed to lose and finding a way to win. Also, he way too often when he was here lost games he should have won.
No,
too.
yeah,
that's a part of it
for sure.
But
by the way,
he's a good coach.
Potentially setting up for that this weekend.
Yes, it is.
My dad yesterday was like, you realize Vrabel lost a lot of games he should have won here with the Titans, and this is setting up for a perfect one on Sunday. It is.
So me, your dad, and Still here on the team. Who else is with us?
Vrabel's
Who's with us?
Baby. We'll see how that part of it all shakes out. Like, I do think in the short term, there would have been fans that are so fed up with Callahan that even if they didn't outright say it, like if Vrabel came in here and just smacked the Titans around under Callahan on Sunday, they'd be like, good. Now get this guy out of here and let's go.
Yeah.
And now that he's been fired, I wonder if that changes here. Or there's still people out there that are like, yeah, I hope Vrabel comes in here and shows Amy how much of an idiot she is and wins this game by 40 points.
I think it's still more of that, right? If you're a Titans fan who's a devoted Titans fan who's been paying close attention, everybody's doing it now, by the way. Albert Breer's out here writing story. Jonathan Jones, CBS. Everybody's writing the Amy's a terrible owner story.
Yeah, she's getting absolutely torched around the league.
If you're a Titans fan who has been paying attention, then yeah, I would say most of your ire is already devoted to her anyway, isn't it? And
yes.
So this season's lost. It's going nowhere. You want the highest pick possible. It's ridiculous. It's 6 games in. It's unbelievable to talk about that. But by golly, the Titans were the number 1 pick last year. Why can't they be again? So I think for a lot of people, it's still like, Vrabel, smash away and let's embarrass Amy. I really think a lot of people think that. Now, some people are like, no, I'm a Titans fan.
Right.
I root for the Titans every week, every time they play. They play 17 times a year, and I sure as hell don't want Vrabel to come in here and beat them because I wanted him out or whatever, or I was okay with him being out. I think it's an interesting I have no idea how, like, what the numbers would be on that, but I don't know. I think it's a pretty healthy number of this franchise is a bleep show. I know we can't fire the owner, but maybe like some level of embarrassment will convince her to, like, you know what? I'm totally out here, Kenneth, like stuff like that. Like, give me something to change things at the top.
I would love to know how Titans fans feel about that. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. How do you feel about Vrabel coming to town in the aftermath of Callahan being shown the door this week? We'll take your thoughts on that. Plus, we've got some things to look for Titans fans the rest of the year that could impact the coaching search that will be happening at some point after the season. We'll get into all that. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Taking your thoughts on our phone and text lines, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. 615-737-1025 is our phone number.
Am I a text line solo again?
Yep.
You just
I'll
quit.
get in. I'll try to
quit
get back in it today.
You've quit it.
I forget about it after I leave.
All right, well, I'll go through a few quickly. Too many crowning Vrabel and the Patriots. Easiest strength of schedule in the NFL. As you mentioned, we sat through a lot of games where the inferior team won. Vrabel is a good coach, but he was like the cute girl that only dates bum-ass delinquents when selecting his assistants. Wow.
Oh,
Okay. Chip from Mount Juliet says Vrabel's a good coach, but he should enjoy some success up there before his act wears thin.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Vrabel, talent-wise, was the best head coach in Titans history, and ownership is the reason he isn't here because he was a butthole. A lot of you guys are really not holding back on some of this stuff. I'll take Vrabel winning by 30, embarrassing Amy, and continuing to build the Fire Chad Brinker campaign.
So that's who we moved on to next now.
Yeah, that's
Titans fans have zeroed in.
He's next. Yeah. And I think he knows that. Vrabel's a good coach. Is another texter. Vrabel's a good coach, but there are so many people acting like he was some sacred football figure that never lost when he was fired. Yeah, I mean, again, he's a good coach.
Yeah,
he is a good coach. He's not a legendary coach. Is he the greatest coach in Titans history? I mean, I'd have to go with the guy who brought him to the Super Bowl, Jeff Fisher. But over a long period of time, Jeff Fisher did have a lot of like mediocre teams. I mean, you could argue like that when it's all said and done, when Vrabel's career is done, will he be the best coach to have coached the Tennessee Titans? I think that is possible.
Well, I think
but
so.
we don't know.
We'll see
who's coming.
Well, I would also say this, and this kind of takes it back to the Titans front of the 4 massive moves that have been made from a personnel standpoint the last 4 years, the firings, right? J-Rob, Vrabel, Carthon, now Callahan. I mean, Vrabel was the one that
biggest mistake
was, by far the biggest mistake. Now, the timing of J-Rob was dumb, and I think we all agree with that. But, it was trending in a way with the drafts that had they got to the end of that 2022 season and she had fired Robinson after the year, I mean, even if you didn't necessarily agree with it, you could have understood it.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
That would have been a hot debate.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, but it just, the timing of when she did it was just ridiculous.
Absurd. And to me, I truly believe collapsed them.
Yeah.
At least in the early going, and is why they didn't win the division.
Yeah.
And they still would have won the division.
Exactly. So, I think Vrabel was the one. I mean, we said it at the time, and there were Titans fans that vehemently disagree with us, and that's fine. Like if you thought it was time for Vrabel to go at the end of the year, that's fine. Like I don't have a huge problem with that. But I remember when they fired him, I was like, this is stupid. Like this is a big mistake. And when's the next time they're going to get a head coach that's as good as Mike Vrabel? We'll see. They got another opportunity coming up. We'll see if they can find one.
Yeah. I mean, at least they keep trying quickly.
That's true.
They keep ripping through them to see if you can find one. Skylar says, I'm going to the game Sunday holding up a big-ass sign that says, Vrabel, take us with you, while wearing my Jeff Simmons jersey. I like that. It's a real contrast, the duality of the Titans fan.
It's good.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
Nice.
We will get into more of the Vrabel stuff with Kuharsky coming up a little bit later in the show, which I'm sure he's got a lot of thoughts on, which we will do that.
He loves sucking up to Vrabel.
As he joins us in the second half of the program. Joe, as we're looking ahead here, and we're going to get, pretty heavy into the coaching stuff here over the next little bit. And we've got some thoughts on Mike McCarthy coming up a little bit later in the show, revisiting something that Charles Robinson told us on the program a couple of weeks ago. But if you're a Titans fan, we've gone through some of the names that are out there already. One thing we haven't seen yet, and we'll see how the rest of the season plays out. Again, 11 games left, so get excited. There are going to be some coaches that have jobs right now, Joe, that will not have jobs at the end of the year. And how is that going to impact the Titans head coaching search? So if you're a Titans fan and you're keeping an eye on the rest of the league and you're trying to, group all these guys into one big coaching pool, who are some names that stand out to you to where Titans fans should have their eye on moving forward?
Well, first of all, I think one of the most popular, and I think this is a Mike Herndon thing, but I've seen other people say it. Maybe Mike Herndon put it in there. I don't know, but it's a popular one, which is, I think we've talked about it. What about failed head coach, very good coordinator, Robert Saleh? There's your culture guy. Now, there are some concerning things about when he was, I know the Jets are like, they can just make anything look terrible. I understand that. Like Justin Fields was not good enough and all that stuff. And now all of a sudden he cannot throw a pass because he's with the Jets. Yeah. Aaron Glenn is a great coordinator. It's like, oh my God, get out of town. He can't win a game. So keep that in mind for how bad it was for Saleh. But Saleh, if you believe that he could, be that guy at a new place, and then Mike McDaniel as the OC. So Mike McDaniel, now that would be That would be obviously taking Saleh back away from the Niners, but that would be
Yep.
there's a fired. I don't think anybody's going to be hot for Mike McDaniel as a head coach. I think but what he is, there's no question. What he is an elite designer of offense.
Yes, for sure.
So like whereas Brian Callahan goes into the market, I don't know what's next for him. Like the technical offensive stuff wasn't good here.
Vanderbilt.
Actually, it's not a bad idea. That is not a bad idea at all. You stay in town, go hang out a little bit with Clark. Yeah, okay, I like it. Do you have inside information?
No,
Okay.
I'm just throwing.
Right.
I knew they're friends.
Okay, that is true. Good call. But Mike McDaniel, I think, probably has teams that are interested in him.
I would assume so.
Right? So that's that's an interesting thought for whoever might be the head coach. If it's not the model, if it's not the I'm the head coach and the play caller model, Mike McDaniel's an interesting thought. Look, I think it's not realistic that John Harbaugh is going to lose his job. I heard like on Sportsish talking about that like him be on the hot seat. I guess do they totally bottom out? They get Lamar back and they still bottom out. It's been a tremendously long time. There was a fair point brought up by Chris Candy about the fact that he has not had like a playoff run in a long, long time. It's hard for me to believe that would happen. If it were to happen, then I think a whole bunch of teams would be all over that dude.
Yes.
If Mike Tomlin happens, and it doesn't look like it is, because it looks like they're going to have a pretty good year. I mean, my gosh, right now, they're running away with the AFC North.
Yeah.
So it would have to be a collapse. Now, I also don't think there's a huge margin for error for that team. I think they could lose. Aaron Rodgers looks good. He doesn't look incredible. Keep an open mind. Do the Steelers at some point, if they go 9-8, do they finally get sick of that with Tomlin? If that's the case, again, I know Steelers fans might argue against this, but the teams will be lining up.
He will be very
Tomlin.
Yes.
Teams will be lining up. So those are some of like your, sort of like your dream. Now, more likely to be fired, but could be interesting. What about Brian Daboll? Now, I understand there's been some goofy stuff there, and my God, does he scream it like the spotter, the concussion
stay out of the
spotter.
injury tent.
Jeez, calm down, bro. He clearly, you have to give him some credit. Like, I cannot look at the path of Josh Allen and the early going of Josh Allen. There was a great variable special, by the way. Ooh, that loss at Buffalo in 2018. Oh, my goodness. Josh Allen, I would have been a better quarterback than Josh Allen that day. But anyway, look at how much better he got. Daboll was there for that. And, Daniel Jones, that it was good, then it was bad. He's going to potentially be out there. Is he? I know a lot of people would be like, Daboll, but
I'm good.
You're good? You're out on that?
I'm
Okay.
good.
Okay. I'm not as down on him as you or as some.
There's a guy that I'm really interested to see what happens with him this year, because we know they're going to be bad, and they're going to be bad for the second year in a row, like really bad. And that place it's like the Jets, and it's the Browns. Stefanski, who I think is a good coach. And I think the quarterback position and how the ownership has handled all that, starting with Deshaun Watson and letting Mayfield go and all these things, like it's been an unmitigated disaster at quarterback for Cleveland. And it's hard for any coach to overcome that. Now, this is the same guy also a couple years ago that made the playoffs with Joe Flacco as the quarterback. His record, when you look at the end of his tenure in Cleveland, if it ends this year, it's not going to be all that good, but I still think he's a good coach. Like, I think he's a demonstrated good coach. Actually, I think Cleveland would be dumb to fire him, but Cleveland is dumb. So they might do it at the end of the year. That would be the guy that I'm looking at that, like, I'm with you. I don't think Harbaugh's getting fired in Baltimore. I know they're off to it may just end up being a disaster of a year for them. I still don't think he's going to get fired. Tomlin, I think they're going to win the AFC North, so I don't think he's going to get fired. Stefanski, I think, has got a shot, and if I was the Titans, I would be very much considering that.
Yeah. Oh, no, for sure. If that were to happen, absolutely. Well, speaking of the Browns, now you also have, so then you can get into history, ties with the Titans, which, again, like people stop at the Eddie George. if he wasn't a great player for the Titans, you're talking about someone who coached pretty well at the FCS level and is just starting in the MAC, and we'll see. That profile of coach does not get an NFL head coaching job.
Yeah.
So just that's got to stop. But what about Jim Schwartz? Jim Schwartz was a great DC here. He was here, of course, a little bit with Vrabel. He's a great DC. I mean, look, he didn't win with the Lions. A lot of people, kind of like the Jets, kind of like these other franchises we're talking about.
And he wasn't horrible with the Lions, though.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, no, I think he had 1 or 2 playoff teams. I think that's right. So, yeah, no, I think that's possible. And, of course, Arthur Smith is an obvious one. And, I tend to, you mentioned it yesterday, Arthur Smith, like the quarterback situation in Atlanta was, now granted, he has a hand in picking the
for sure.
quarterbacks too. So, but it wasn't ideal. And he is a good OC. And I think that I think there's something to that too.
and there's
either of those could be, we're worth an interview for sure.
Well, we'll continue the discussion on those last 2 you brought up, because I mean, there's a clear reason why they would be involved and considered here. We'll get into that. Take more of your thoughts on who you'd like to see as head coach of the Tennessee Titans, who could become available at the end of the year that may not necessarily be available right now. All that coming up. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robby and Rexrode 1025 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safari here with you on this Wednesday morning. Talking Titans coaching search. Who should Titans fans have their eye on that's currently employed in the National Football League that may not be by the time the year comes up or is a coordinator right now?
We quickly throw one from Mo here on the text line driven by Wilson County on it.com 615-737-1025. What about James Franklin or Marcus Freeman? So the college coach thing, I dunked on the Cignetti thing yesterday. Like Cignetti's not like Cignetti's last job is probably going to be Indiana. He's 64 years old. I mean, he's a college guy. He's never been in the NFL. Now, I also kind of think that with James, I just don't think James Franklin's going to be an NFL guy. Marcus Freeman is young enough that like I could see that at some point. But when you have one of those college jobs that he has, what you have is, I mean, you have a talent advantage 95% of the time.
Yeah.
That's why, like, Nick Saban went to the NFL. I was like, I think I'd rather just like pick players that are better than all the players that I play every week, and I'll win every week. And so he went to Bama.
Yeah, like I mean, the only thing you from one of those guys, and I've heard Dan Lanning get tossed out there too. So I'll kind of group them together. Freeman and Lanning. Like, they both have better jobs than the Titans job. I'm sorry. Like, I mean, the only thing you would have if you're the Titans is if they're dead set on being in the NFL, right?
Yeah,
like,
and there is that with all the NIL stuff. There is more of that where people are like, screw this. I can't deal with this crap.
Yeah, but I mean, those guys,
they win.
They win.
They get the players.
And they
have the
they're
money.
not having any problem with NIL.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
I think, and they're both young. So, I think the older guys, the more established, like the Nick Saban types. I'm not talking about Saban specifically, but I mean, there's a reason he's not coaching anymore. Like, he didn't want to deal with all that stuff because he'd been around forever. Like, those type of guys are probably who you convince to go from college to the NFL. Like, Dan Lanning and Marcus Freeman ain't having any problem with NIL in the current landscape of college football.
Now, you mentioned Dan Lanning. Sometimes you have the college OC who's really good, who gets pulled into the, Liam Cohen was with the Jags. I mean, he got like what he was doing at Kentucky, kind of. Then he goes to the NFL, comes back, head coach job. But Will Stein with Oregon is definitely one of those hot names where it's like, sometimes a guy like that does want to hop over to the NFL. But like, do you want to go give a college offensive coordinator an NFL head coaching job?
Yeah, I mean, I think it largely. That'd be a pretty darn good college coordinator, right? And it depends on what offense they run. Like, I mean, for instance,
the CEO, there's still CEO parts of this job.
There's CEO parts of the job, but purely from an offense standpoint, we talked a few weeks ago about Heupel, right? Like Heupel, and I'm not even coming close to comparing him and considering him for a Titans job. I'm just saying, like, he's probably not a person that if I was hiring, and if I was an NFL team I was hiring, I don't think I'd consider him all that much. Not because I don't think he's a good coach, but everything he does offensively in college, you can't do in the NFL. So, like, it doesn't translate to me. Now, I'm not saying he couldn't eventually do it, right? Like, he's smart enough to run a different offense.
Sure.
But I don't think it's a good fit that way. So I think you got to be really selective if you're going the college route, if you're an NFL team.
Yeah. No doubt. Skylar brings up Clint Kubiak, OC of the Seattle. He's good. Yeah, those again. Kingsbury, Clint Kubiak, Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah.
These guys who their first name should start with C, but they start with K.
I got a name for you, and I heard Tim Hasselbeck throw this out yesterday. Clark Lee at Vanderbilt. Tim Hasselbeck said that he feels like he would be a really good fit with the Titans.
I think Clark Lee could be an NFL head coach if he wanted to be an NFL head coach. I don't know. I have my doubts about that. I feel like he's more of a college guy, but I think he'd be a good NFL. I mean, I think Clark Lee, as people are starting to realize now that he has players who give him a chance, is a really, really good coach. So I'm not like completely just scoffing at that.
Let me be clear. I would not leave if I was Clark Lee to go coach the Titans.
How about a swap?
Yeah.
Brian, you come over here. Clark, you come over here. What do you think?
Sure, Vanderbilt fans would be thrilled.
Yeah. I mean, look, Clark Lee, as I think I said earlier I think I said it Monday, right? Like, I mean, Feldman, or if I didn't, Feldman always does a story whenever somebody gets fired at a big job. Bruce Feldman for us at The Athletic. And these are reported stories. They're not just, hey, let me just throw some names out. And, he talks to people, he talks to agents, whatever, talks to sources in college football. And he threw out Clark Lee as someone that Penn State might be interested in coming out. Like, we're going to hear Clark Lee, whether that's a thing specifically or not. We're going to hear Clark Lee's name.
Yes.
Connected to other jobs. What happens when you have success?
Yeah. And again, let me be clear. If I was Clark Lee, think about what I'm about to say here. I would not leave Vanderbilt to go to the Titans. I would not do it.
Don't have to leave your hometown. You stay in your hometown.
You could. You absolutely could.
Well, look, okay.
And I also, I don't think the Titans are going to. I don't think the Titans are calling Clark Lee.
Yeah, probably not. Now, I will say that if you're Clark Lee, things are going really well right now, and you got Diego Pavia, you could look forward and say, like, I think a lot of coaches just like, okay, we got money now, but like, are we going to people going to keep re-upping and re-upping and re-upping, and who's my next quarterback and all that? And sometimes it's just depending on where you are in college, you can look at that and say, you know what, I kind of like the idea of having summers off.
Brandon on the YouTube chat says Ellerby for Titans head coach.
Yeah,
Glenn Ellerby in there, baby.
They do need a new O-line coach.
That's true. They do.
That is very
Glenn?
There's a vacancy now.
There is.
Would you like to come coach offensive line for the Tennessee Titans?
It seems like they're doing sort of I guess we can ask Kuharsky when he gets here, but sort of a ham and egg kind of thing with the O-line coaching.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
Let's head back to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Welcome in Rich to the program. Rich, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. Hey, I just had a few names to throw out there, and I ain't going to listen. John Harbaugh or John Gruden. Thank you.
Thank you. Harbaugh again.
We mentioned Harbaugh.
I'll be surprised. Surprised may not be strong enough word. I'll be shocked, even with how bad it's going in Baltimore right now, if he gets fired. I think they're going to chalk it up probably to just an absolute disaster of a year and try again next year. And if it's bad again next year, then okay, well maybe we'll start talking.
I agree.
If
he's available, absolutely make him say no. Go after him.
We're going to hear Gruden for months, Joe.
Yeah,
it's going to be a thing we hear for months.
Our buddy John McClain said it.
I know, and I understand. I do. I understand why. I'm with you. When you really dig into it, it's been a long time since he's been a good coach. Not saying he can't ever be a good coach again, but it's been a long time since he's been a good coach, and he's still in the NFL. So I don't think that's happening with the Titans.
Yeah. I mean, let's not forget, he was on TV, and he was great on TV, doing Monday Night Football, doing the quarterback, whatever, for a long time before he kind of got back in there. I mean, there was, he really has been detached from coaching for most of the last 20 years.
Yeah.
So he's a big personality, but I actually heard Pre-K say this on my favorite show, Still in Paul, yesterday. And I agree. Sometimes it's just this guy's famous, so he should be the coach. Again, I'm not saying Gruden hasn't had success, but I think his last playoff win was in 2002, the year that he and Bill Callahan met in the Super Bowl. And we were talking almost a quarter century, folks.
It's a long time.
I think there are better options.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. We're going to get into what could be one of those options coming up next with something that Charles Robinson told us a couple of weeks ago here on the program. All that ahead, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Hour number 2, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you, live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios. Home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. We'll have Paul Kuharsky from paulkuharsky.com with us later in the program, and we will get into what has been a very busy week for the Tennessee Titans with him. And by the way, Mike Vrabel's coming to town this weekend, so we will get into all that with PK a little bit later in the show. We're talking about potential coaching searches and replacements and all those things for the Tennessee Titans. And, Joe, there was a name that came up a couple of weeks ago with Charles Robinson that I asked him about because, again, not a shock that Brian Callahan was getting fired, and a name that is very popular with Titans fans right now, and that is Mike McCarthy, former head coach of the Green Bay Packers and the Dallas Cowboys, who is out there, is available, is not currently affiliated, and has stated that he wants to continue to coach. So he is, I think, at least, particularly when you factor in that Chad Brinker is a part of the organization, there's a connection there. I don't know if that's a good connection or a bad connection. Like, I don't know what that means.
It might make it way less likely.
It may make it way less likely. I have no clue. But he's going to be on a lot of the lists that Titans fans are pointing to when it comes to potential head coaches. So I asked Charles Robinson about him a couple of weeks ago. You'll be stunned to know a lengthy answer from Charles, but we're going to play it here. Here's what Charles
verbose
had to say on the Mike McCarthy front.
I think he'll get another shot. I think Mike did a lot of great things, for the Cowboys, which I was surprised by. I wasn't so sure about that hire. It felt like a retread to me, but I think he did a really good job leading the organization, given what the limitations are of the Cowboys, meaning the chaos, right? Just dealing with the BS, like the Jerry nonsense and all the stuff that really goes on with ownership in the front office. Mike was really, really good at just setting that to the side. And it was funny because Jerry times would come out and like criticize Mike's play calling or the scheme or whatever. And Mike was always very good about navigating that. I thought the players really, really responded to Mike and liked Mike. To bring in Dan Quinn shows you can operate with a lack of an ego when you're willing to, at least particularly defensively, bring in a guy of that nature who's been a head coach, who you're basically turning over the defense to entirely and saying, that's your world. Coaches who are particularly offensive-minded coaches who are willing to do that and just say, hey, look, I'm making you the executive of the defense, kind of like Kevin O'Connell did with Brian Flores in Minnesota. I think that I like those guys, because it shows there's an element of egolessness with them. However, it's complicated offensively because, he and Kellen Moore wasn't great. It was when it came to play calling and kind of who had that responsibility, then ultimately that's how Brian Schottenheimer ended up being the offensive coordinator there when Mike and Kellen had to go their opposite ways and they shared the same agent, and the agent's like, let me work this out. I'll get, Kellen will go his way. Mike, you'll be fine. Brian Schottenheimer can come in. The one thing I will say, and Titans fans should pay attention to this, so far, and it really came out in the Green Bay game, Schottenheimer does kind of run a creative offense. And I didn't always see that with Mike McCarthy and the Cowboys. There were years there where you struggled to understand exactly what their identity was going to be. And Mike would always talk about running the football and want to be a run dominant team and really establish this. And then you would go through seasons and go, okay, well, are you really proving this right now? Because it doesn't feel like you're leaning into that consistently. I wouldn't have any problem with him being a candidate. I definitely would not. I just think that if Brian Callahan gets fired here, I want to know that they cast a wide net when it comes to hiring the next coach. And I personally believe you make that hire 100% with Cam Ward in mind. Like, you can't squander a number one overall pick quarterback. I think that's the kind of thing where if it happens, it sets you back a decade if you don't get it right.
So some interesting stuff there from Charles on Mike McCarthy. Now, McCarthy, Joe, as we've talked about, is not perfect. Like, he is not a perfect head coach. There were some pretty glaring clock mismanagement issues when he was in Dallas that were a problem. You heard it there from Charles. Towards the end with he and Kellen Moore, got a little spicy there. And his last year in Dallas, they finished 7-10, and he was out. Now, the 3 years before that, they're 12-5 every year. Now, they did not have the requisite postseason success after that, but 12-5 is pretty good. And frankly, right now, I mean, look, the Titans are so far away from 12-5 that that's hard to even fathom at the moment. I mean, he's kind of the anti-Brian Callahan from the standpoint of if you're looking for experience, he's been a head coach in the NFL for 18 years. Like he's 13 in Green Bay, 5 in Dallas, 288 regular season games, a record of 174, 112, and 2. That's a 608 winning percentage. So he's done a lot of winning. Now, he had Aaron Rodgers and prime Aaron Rodgers for his quarterback for a large portion of that. So you have to keep that in mind. So what do you make of McCarthy, who I believe is 61, 62 years old at this point? What do you make of him potentially being a name to watch for the Tennessee Titans?
I think he should be in the mix. I'm not. Some Titans fans seem to recoil at the mention of that name. I'm not there. I'm also not jumping with excitement about the idea, but I think it makes sense that he would be in the mix. So, yeah, I mentioned Gruden before and how long it's been since he won, but Gruden at least does have experience. Some of these people we're talking about have none. So that's the counter for the pro Gruden people or for pro McCarthy people is like, I just like, can I have someone who at least has demonstrated the ability to be a head coach in this league and do that job competently? And that's a totally understandable sentiment after the Brian Callahan era.
What an era it was.
Is it an era? Season and 6 games.
The speed bump.
Yeah, right. So that's why I in my mind it's just like the Titans are not going to go get like a Joe Brady, right? They're not going to go get someone like that. Like you mentioned, yeah, he calls plays, but still, like someone who has not been a CEO before. But again, some of those hires work out great.
Yeah.
I like the idea of someone with head coaching experience. Again, that's why. So Arthur Smith would fit that bill. And you know, you mentioned the McCarthy Brinker link. I mean, some of the YouTube chat's like, well, if he hires someone he knows, and then he's definitely fired next. Well, yeah, I mean, I think Brinker realistically would be in line for that if whatever doesn't work out.
Yeah,
right?
like
you would think
if the next coaching hire doesn't go well, then Brinker's gone. Like this,
we think.
Yeah, I think. I mean, unless he's just got some sort of
berserker.
Yeah, like
just has a grip.
Exactly. So, I mean, look, the one thing I'll say for McCarthy too is there are a lot of names that have been thrown out there that have previous head coaching experience, right? Matt Nagy has previous head coaching experience. You mentioned Arthur Smith. We mentioned Jim Schwartz. A lot of these guys, previous head coaching experience. He's got good previous head coaching experience. Yeah. Now, that doesn't, what he did in 2010 and winning a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers doesn't have a whole lot to do with right now in 2025. The game's different, all those things. So I understand that. But, I mean, if you're looking for if they're going for accomplishment here, you're not going to find too many that are better than McCarthy that are realistically out there.
Right. Now, again, like Gruden also, by the way, has won a Super Bowl. So overall accomplishment, those two guys are way out in front of everybody. It's just that it's so long ago. What does that matter? Like, how much does that matter? You win a press conference more easily.
Yeah.
When you have something like that. But like you said, if it's that long ago, and especially again in McCarthy's case, as opposed to Gruden, who had Brad Johnson as his quarterback, but in McCarthy's case, it's like, yeah, it's pretty amazing that they only won one with Aaron Rodgers, right? More than,
for sure.
Wow, you won a Super Bowl. But still, you did it. You know what it takes to get it. You've gone through the process of taking a team there.
Well, by the way, he was good in Dallas. Like he was not, like he wasn't.
Now, he also had, Dak was good before he got there, by the way. But yes, you're right.
Like, he was good in Dallas. He wasn't the postseason success did not follow in Dallas. Now, I mean, look, get in line with that place. When's the last time the Cowboys had postseason success? It was the mid '90s. So it's been a long time since they've been able to do that. So again, look, I'm not sitting here saying that Mike McCarthy absolutely needs to be the number one target for the Titans. If you're asking me today, that's probably where I would start if I was the Titans. But I'm not convinced that needs to be the way that they go. I just think when you look at everything involved with him, it makes sense for him to be on the list. He's an accomplished guy. From everything I can tell, the players freaking love the guy. And I don't know how much that matters. Like, at the end of the day, can you coach or can you not? But it's not unimportant.
No.
Like, the players love Mike McCarthy.
It's a huge part of why Vrabel is successful. Jason in Manchester says, dreamers. Mike McCarthy will not come here. He's a fringe Hall of Fame coach who isn't going to risk a gold jacket coaching a team with unpredictable management. I don't know if you're. I mean,
I don't know if you're risking it.
yeah, I don't know that you're risking it. I mean, I guess if you come
He's
here
already
and go-
accomplished.
if you go
Yeah.
go 0-17, you make your record worse. But again, with all these guys, as we've brought up, as other people keep bringing up, with all these guys, you also get into, okay, who else is open?
Yes.
And where in the pecking order of the Titans? And it's not going to be near the top.
Well, and that goes back to, you brought up Schwartz and Arthur Smith earlier. And I know there are some Titans fans that hear that and then they're like, okay, well, I mean, Jim Schwartz was an okay head coach in Detroit and Arthur Smith was a failed head coach in Atlanta. Like, why would we consider those guys? But I'm just telling you, like, the ownership is a problem here.
Yeah.
And people are paying attention to it around the league. And again, that doesn't mean that you can't find somebody to be your head coach. But I do think that people who have been here before and that know Amy and have worked with Amy, it's different. Like, they understand what she's like, how to navigate the situation. And it doesn't mean that they're the right hire. But I'm just telling you, like, I'm not going to be surprised when and if one or both of Arthur Smith and Jim Schwartz get an interview in this process.
No, and that's fine. Now, I actually heard the Still Belly on my favorite show, Still and Polly, talking about, like maybe that's an advantage, like for Arthur Smith, because like you said. I would also say, though, when Arthur Smith was here, things were going great. Amy's at the tailgate, woo! And it was, it's not, he didn't live through like the hell of the last few years of everybody like, hey, am I fired? It's like looking in your locker, like during cut day. Do I have a little pink thing in my locker or not? Am I fired? He was here during the good times when she was all out up front and yeah, baby. So, I think there's a limitation to that experience probably.
Right. Now, I mean, he was here for the bad times too, but it was before she really got involved, right? Like he was.
Well, that's true.
Right. But it was, she came in.
Not the Amy bad
as
times.
right. Like she came in as the face of this and things started to get better.
Yeah.
Right.
For sure.
So he hasn't been here the last part of this.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting situation.
The reign of terror he has missed.
615-737-1025, our phone number. What would you make of Mike McCarthy as the coach of the Tennessee Titans? Is that something that Titans fans would be excited about? We'll take your thoughts on that. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Taking your thoughts on our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Joe Rexrode in charge of the text line today, baby. And I'm loving it. More Rexrodes in charge of the text line, the better we all are.
Well, this also diverts my attention away from the YouTube chat, which is also rocking today. It's just a lot going on. But Keith says, can we please hire a coach who's going to be the head coach and an OC? He'll be the OC? Enough of these blended, confusing roles. I could see the Titans saying, we're going to make the DC the OC and the OC the DC. It's the future.
Well, somebody's tried that.
Good stuff, Keith.
Yeah, Belichick tried that.
Yeah, that's right. Belichick
didn't work.
Matt Patricia. How about you?
The darling of college football right now, by the way. Matt Patricia.
I know. He's such a genius. God, how is he so smart? Amazing. A 5-star at every position. How it's incredible. No, I mean, obviously he's doing a fine job. But again, Penn State, James Franklin, like, oh my God, I got to steal away their D coordinator. Jim Knowles is a genius. Let's pay him $3.1 million a year over 3 years. A genius.
Yeah.
And then Nico and UCLA put 47 on him. And it's like, wow.
By the way,
what happened there?
Let the record show, I want no part of James Franklin as the head coach of the Tennessee Titans. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever going to be an NFL guy. I don't.
No.
Now, you and I would probably disagree. We talked a little bit about this, just a quick side topic, but I think he can still be a good college. I think there's a lot of college programs that should want him, but again, it kind of depends on what you are. Florida, I don't blame you for not wanting him because you still think you can win national championships. But like Arkansas?
Yeah, I mean,
yes.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't blame Arkansas for hiring. I'm just saying, like, he's not winning a championship.
Right.
At Arkansas.
You wouldn't think so.
Yeah.
Remember, Andy Reid. That guy can't figure out how to freaking count.
Can you imagine James Franklin and Coach Cal at the same place? Just the unlikability factor that would just skyrocket through the roof.
The BS meter.
Neither one of them call the Hogs. I mean, James Franklin might call the Hogs. Cal hasn't done it yet.
That's ridiculous. That's so ridiculous. I don't know. Yeah, it should absolutely be a job requirement. A lot of positivity for, by the way, just overall for McCarthy.
Yeah,
I mean, it's more than I thought. There's not a lot of like, oh my God, hell no.
From what I've seen from Titans fans, I think if they hired Mike McCarthy, it would be overwhelmingly positive, a reaction. Now, look, the guy you just fired went 4-19. So I don't think it's necessarily going to be hard to win the press conference here for the Titans when they hire somebody. I mean, look, Brian Callahan won the press conference, and then
they all
didn't win a game after that. So like it's
Vrabel actually lost his first few press conferences. Like, hey, why are you standing over there? We should do Vrabel's greatest hits this week. Don't stand to my left. I don't like it.
I do at some point this week need to revisit the Trey Avery, like just to get to it one more time.
Hey, Ian, I know that we just abuse you. But like, still, it's gotta be better than working with Stilly. Maybe you could do like a collage of Vrabel this week.
I'll see what I can do.
I'll see if I can.
Hey, how about an omelet? Maybe. Yeah, I know. I'm an a-hole.
Well, sure, we can find some good ones in here. Got a few days to work on it.
You do. Yeah, like
get that real fast, huh?
McCarthy is not a perfect coach, but he is a good coach. Like he is demonstrated to be a good coach. And frankly, right now, like having an adult in charge somewhere in there, like the one thing that I'll also say about McCarthy, in addition to the players loving him, like he will establish the culture, like that word that we use way too much in sports. Like the Titans need some of that, right?
Standards.
Like, right now, the Titans are a
standards.
complete rudderless ship.
Yeah.
Right. And bringing in an actual adult to help change that is not a bad thing. So again, like I'm not saying as we sit here today on October 15th for a coaching search that's not going to take place for another 3 months. Like I'm not sitting here today saying it has to be Mike McCarthy, but there are a lot of things about McCarthy that make sense when you think about it as related to the Titans. Yeah. And then it comes down to, if you're him, are you looking at this situation and being like, yeah, no, thanks. I'm not doing that.
Right. It seems like he wants back in, but like with anyone we talk about, then you have to get to, okay, what's available? And I can't say that every single open job is going to be more attractive than the Titans job, because I think the Cam Ward factor is what it is. If you're Mike McCarthy, I don't know. if you listen to some of the stat people around the NFL, which is a great example, some of these people who are all about I'm sorry to Brian Summers and some of you folks, but like all about this, like Cam Ward is like the worst prospect we've ever seen. Like, I don't think that's true. Now the numbers are terrible, but I think that Cam Ward has talent. Does Mike McCarthy think so? Does Coach X think so?
Yeah.
That could, lift the Titans higher in the pecking order. But I that's the ultimate question for all these candidates. What do you think about Cam Ward? Can you win and make him a great quarterback?
And the bottom line, it doesn't really, like, even if it doesn't matter what you think right now. Like, he has to at some point this year play better than he's played, because if he doesn't, then you can think it all you want, but like there's no, like, if it doesn't get better than it's been so far with Ward, I'm telling you, the conversations that we're going to be having at the end of the year are not going to be comfortable. Like, it's not. So, that's going to affect the coaching search too. He has to, at some point along the way here, play better. And then that leads into maybe that's the biggest selling point of your franchise right now. And right now it's not very good.
Right. Like, this front office already had their entire futures tied to Cam Ward being good. Now this coaching search that has been thrust upon them also has something to do with how he plays the rest of the year.
Yes,
for sure.
There's no doubt. And that's not even factoring in, the Amy stuff. And, we're going to have Charles on tomorrow, and I'm really interested to get his thoughts on all this. But it was listening to the Inside Coverage podcast that he does on Yahoo Sports, and they were just talking about a coaching search and like how attractive is the Titans job. And, one thing Charles said was, like, there's three pillars you look at the organization. There's the quarterback, there's the general manager, and there's the owner. And it's like, well, you're probably going to find a lot of coaches that feel good about Borgonzi, right? They're like, Borgonzi, fine. The power structure with Brinker's weird, but feel good about Borgonzi. Ward, we'll see. Like, maybe you get to the end of the year and you feel okay about Ward moving forward. His point, and I think the point we all share here, is it's going to be real hard to feel good about the ownership part of that. Like, that's the most important pillar there is, and it's going to be really difficult to feel good about that if you're a coaching candidate out there.
Yeah, like, go back to Brian Callahan when, for people, Adam in Portland, who don't remember, was the belle of the ball 2 years ago, or he was up there anyway. You compare, the Titans wouldn't let him leave, right? They wouldn't let him leave and go out to Carolina, whatever. But at that point, you probably compare the ownership, and I don't think anybody would put anyone below David Tepper. So at least at that point too, he's kind of like not had public outbursts lately and stuff like that. So it's been a little more quiet. You could make the case certainly that, like, Bryce Young would have been a more attractive quarterback to go coach than Will Levis, right?
Yeah.
I understand it hasn't been great for Bryce Young, but I'm just saying that may have been an ownership, like, well, lesser of two evils kind of thing there. I think at this point with the Titans, it's going to be hard to look at an ownership situation and be more wary of any other one than this ownership situation.
We will have a discussion on the Borgonzi part of this coming up next. 615-737-1025. Our phone number. Paul Kuharsky will be with us later in the program. All that ahead. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar, Paul Kuharsky from paulkuharsky.com with us on the program. PK, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. Good to be here. Good to see you.
Busy week for you.
Joe, I hope you're well, good and rested.
Yeah, had a good week at the beach and had a great day yesterday listening to Stilly and Paulie.
No gout flare up?
Yeah.
No gout flare up to speak of this week, by the way. Coming off
No,
the
and
beach
I even snuck in. I avoided shellfish. I didn't even totally avoid red meat. I had some bacon in the morning with some bacon and egg sandwiches. I did sneak in a few beers here and there. I snuck
it. Just likes to tempt fate.
I was fine.
Look, it's a football show on the 440 network, and it's my show.
You don't get top billing. I don't care.
Show.
You don't get top billing.
He guested on my show that I do with Braden Gall. It's Braden Gall and I's show.
He was a guest. He was running the show when I listened. He was telling you what to do.
Yeah, well, the guy who runs the show is setting up the talent.
That's what it is. Oh,
yeah.
He just okay.
That's what I do for you.
Talent.
Yeah, it's the Paulie and Stilly show.
No,
not the same flow.
It doesn't work. I'm sorry.
Not the same flow.
But someone said,
I mean, who made Joe Rexrode the official namer of media?
This is my idea. This is all my idea.
It's your idea for us to be on there together.
Absolutely, Robbie.
This goes back years.
I mean, I've been screaming for this for years. But as someone on the text line pointed out, it's actually, we could also call it Mr. Ivy League and Baloney Head. that is an alternative title.
It is an alternative.
I mean, he was like a normal radio guy yesterday.
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed.
Engaged in a conversation with no conspiracy theories, nothing preposterous.
Just give it some time.
I just kept waiting. I'm like, all right, he's saving it for the end. And then nothing came.
He did say a lot of farting swear words, though.
He did.
Boy.
Do you know where Amy Adams Strunk is right this moment?
When he said at her home, a lot of people presume Texas. She has a home here.
That's true.
I did kind of want to say
which one?
Which home? Has she flown home or driven home?
Give me the coordinates.
And how did he know that she wasn't like on a fox hunt? Like, how did he really know? Or was it like
dark.
out at a function?
I
could have been at a
same
function.
Thing. Well, she could have been on her horse at home.
I think my favorite part
was at home. You could do a lot of things at home.
I mean, does that just mean the entire greater Houston?
Waller
Yeah.
is the town.
My favorite part of it was the what do you mean?
Yeah,
what do you mean? What do I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, where is she? It's a very simple
It was a
question.
pretty clear question. I thought.
He seemed to grapple a little bit with English during that presser with a lot of
He
what do you mean by that? Huh?
He did a lot of buying time.
Yeah.
Like TD asked, who's doing the coaching search, and he needed 3 clarifications of that. Well, I think he was buying time in order to say we are.
Collaboration.
Hey, look,
Hashtag
we
collaboration.
can't complain too much. They didn't send out who would have Nick Holtz to talk about the firing of Brian Callahan, which is kind of systematically how they've been operating.
They fired my friend, which is fine.
The powers
Still not called plays.
talked about
Still not the head coach.
the firing.
It's all good.
So,
The entire organization is crumbling before my eyes, which is fine.
yeah, I'll be gone soon.
So, Joe, there was a point you wanted to make on the Borgonzi part of all of this.
One thing I did find this curious, and I want your opinion, PK, because I know Mike Borgonzi should have all the power. You're a big Borgonzi.
He's the best guy over there.
He must be giving you great information.
He's the best guy over there.
Here we go.
Yeah, I like to troll you on that stuff. But seriously, I must say, I take issue with him, and I know that he was nodding off and like, please don't make me talk. And Chad's like, Mike, jump in here.
Mike, do you have any thoughts on this?
No, I'm good.
But like he said that he had no knowledge of like these Simmons comments and stuff. And I gotta say, Paul, if you're the general manager of a football team, I'm not saying you scour every post game comment from all your players, but like you should know when something like that is said a day later. Am I wrong?
I think it's a good way for him to avoid the question in his mind.
So just BSing. He was lying.
Are
you saying this guy that you want to be in charge of the franchise was lying?
I think it's more likely that he was playing with the truth than that he didn't
with the truth.
Didn't know the comments.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, though I do.
Why lie there? Just say I heard that, and that's troubling.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I
do get the sense that he is really a film studier deep in personnel. But yeah, I mean, he's got to know that. And you're right. I mean, he should have said, yeah, that's troubling. And that's something that we're going to make sure doesn't happen.
So you don't think there's any chance that he actually didn't know?
No, he was too busy going back and trying to go back in time and not take the job. That's what he was doing. He's like, oh God, what have I done? That's what his face told me in the whole press conference. Oh my goodness.
Does anyone have a DeLorean? I need a DeLorean.
If he's being honest there and he doesn't know, that's bad. That he wouldn't know that. And
so do you want to change your stance that he should be in charge of the entire thing?
On that same day,
Mayor of Nashville.
On that same day, Mike Silver's article came out that spelled out that Simmons had an exchange with Latham. Look, I'm not saying Borgonzi is, tremendous. I'm saying out of the people over there, who do you trust the most? And I have no shame in saying I absolutely trust Borgonzi the most.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I understand it's a small sample size, but you're giving me those choices. I'm drafting him first.
Yeah, I mean, I would totally agree with that. Let's head to our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
I know you're taking Bryce Wasserman.
Family ties. Those matter. Blood's thicker than water.
Let's welcome in Nate to the program. Nate, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
What's up, guys? I just had a thought. We all know that once a GM is fired, they're never used again. I guess post Robinson, if Borgonzi is the next one to go because Chad Brinker has a grasp on Amy for some reason, could that potentially open the league's eyes more to that it's more of an ownership issue than a general manager issue, and that Borgonzi could get another shot at it somewhere else because of how dysfunctional the ownership is?
Yeah, but I don't think Borgonzi is going to be next. But you raise a interesting.
We're already planning Borgonzi's next job over here.
You raise an interesting issue. I do think there is a scenario where the league tries to involve itself here. But I don't think that's necessarily a great thing. I mean, the league involved itself with the New York Giants and gave the New York Giants Georgia Young, which was saved the franchise and led them to 2 Super Bowls and was fantastic. But we also think the league involved itself with Rand Carthon and screwed the Titans and set them back 2 years. So I wouldn't be anxious for the league to tell me what to do. And I think the Titans are generally pushovers when it comes to league involvement, and it's beyond time. Now,
which, by the way, is why John Gruden is not coming here, by the way.
Who do you trust more? Yeah, and somebody pointed this out. I wish I can remember who to give proper credit. Adolfo Birch, came from the legal end of the league. And he's in the power structure of this team. So that makes John Gruden and Brian Flores both less likely. I don't think Gruden is, anywhere near. His last playoff game was 2002. I think Jeff Fisher won one since then. And, it's a celebrity hire, this desperation for him. Flores, I think, it might be a good second chance coach. Sala also from San Francisco now.
Sail away? Robert Saleh?
Yeah. Sorry.
Sail away with me. Okay.
But I don't think the Titans are going to go with guys that are in legal issues with the NFL, which Stilly pressed hard yesterday, and I agree.
Are they going to do the thing that teams do?
Albert Breer said that, by the way, with Stilly yesterday.
Said
that he thinks they'd stay away from guys with legal stuff.
Yeah. Are they going to do the things that teams do, which is whatever the last guy is who failed, we're going to zig here, zag here, back to a Vrabel.
How about this?
Guy.
Instead of, extremely nice and tepid versus, hot and aggressive, how do you find like just a normal middle of the road kind of personality instead of bouncing between extremes. That would be my proposal.
Lukewarm. So Vrabel's hot, but you're looking for lukewarm.
I'm
That's
not
what you're
looking
telling
for
us?
lukewarm. I'm looking for like a normal guy. Is the league built entirely on extremes?
Who?
Is every,
Give us who is
is
it?
every coach? Is Kevin O'Connell
Mike
one
McCoy.
of those two extremes?
I mean, he seems more like he seems just like Callahan. It's just he's just good.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't
Like a nice guy, great with the media, and he's good.
I don't have a coach yet, but I am interested in researching somebody like Mike Minter.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
somebody like that. But again, it's dangerous to bring in somebody that the thing is, we want a guy with head coaching experience, right? But start going through the guys with head coaching experience, and they're all very flawed. Cliff Kingsbury failed as a head coach at 2 levels. What makes you think that he's going to be a better head coach? He's a very good coordinator. He's proven that. Do you want a coordinator as your head coach, or do you want a head coach? They need to find a head coach
And by the way, some
who
people
can hire good coordinators.
Some people are just good coordinators, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Right,
but it doesn't mean that you have to automatically graduate to being a head coach one day.
Right, like your guy Herndon wants the Sala McDaniel thing. McDaniel will be someone's OC because he's good as an OC.
Yes.
But I don't think he's going to
Excellent.
get a head coaching job.
No,
after
he's
this.
definitely not.
Right.
I mean,
He's
if
a
he
great
did,
example.
it would be a while
It'd be a
before
while.
he was recycled. Arthur Smith, I think is a really good guy. I don't know if he's a good head coach. He'd have to come in and do a lot of explaining about what went wrong in Atlanta and how he could change that. And he has more of a relationship with Amy, I'm certain, than Jim Schwartz does, though I would imagine that she would put them both on her list. I want her to be uninvolved. I wrote this. I want her to come in, meet Borgonzi's candidate for,
Why are you
for
stalking her
coffee.
then? Trying to find her.
For coffee. I don't want to find her. I want her to stay.
Where are you?
Whichever home she's at, I want her to stay there while the coaching search is
That's why
conducted.
you asked the question.
Then come in.
Can she lock the door of whatever room she's in?
Come in, shake the hand, give a half-hour thumbs up, and then go back home and stay retracted to wherever she is. Look, just a quick thing on the Amy thing. I'm not going to apologize. I like to talk to decision makers.
You shouldn't apologize.
And she's the
for it.
number one decision
Don't infringe
maker.
on my rant.
And
Don't
I-
infringe on my rant.
And I want to talk to decision maker. And this city should want to hear from a decision maker who's getting, $1 billion from the city and state combined for her new stadium and putting a bleep project
I'll address this.
Good catch.
on the
My
field.
God, you just said shit.
Shit.
Holy shit.
I've been podcasting a lot.
Look at Ian's in there like, what are you guys trying to do to me?
The record show, I'm not participating in this. Well, the Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game.
Sometimes he wakes up on the wrong side of the bed. And sometimes he's just, well, Joe.
Awkward moment. Let's do it.
This is the Rex Rant, now on Robby and Rexrode.
You can ask me anything you want to ask me, Joe, but
Come on in, PK. Maybe Jordan and I can both beat the crap out of you.
We're going to go out there. We're going to fart.
Why the fart were they booing me?
Vrabel leaving the field here stained in blood.
Fart you, I won't do what you tell me.
This is all bullcrap, is what this is.
I want to get the draft picks. You made us take the quarterback.
And if I go down, you're going to break my fall.
Come in here and kick Vrabel's ass real quick.
Joe liked that one. It was a layup, Joe.
Everybody's an idiot.
Hey now, you're an all-star.
Oh, yeah, Smash Mouth. Awesome. Rex Rant brought to you by Functional Medicine of Tennessee. Rise up to better health. Check them out at functionalmedicineoftennessee.net.
I love the Ted Kennedy in there. I swam to shore. She was nowhere to be found.
That
I
quarterback.
didn't know what to do, so I took a nap.
The quarterback was your idea. It was not my idea. I did not want to take the quarterback.
Really bad idea by me to take this job
Is that
in Tennessee.
Is that Borgonzadi?
Kansas City. Welcome me back.
That was an amazing mashup there. What was the Vrabel one where he's like, yeah, Joe liked that one. He was ripping you, right? But what was it for? Do you remember?
No,
Come on. Do you think I catalog? It would be like a year project. I need an intern to catalog all of the
Ian, you're our guy. Ian, you're our guy.
Days, a year
I
project.
tell you,
I'll get it done.
Yeah,
real quick.
yeah. No problem, man.
I had a text exchange with him the other day, and then we're having a conference call with him today.
Yeah.
So I was trying to set him up to smash someone, and he was like, "I'm not going to go after anyone," but I was giving him like bullet points to go after somebody else on the conference call, which probably means he'll crush me today.
Wait. So you're trying to set him up to crush another Titans media member?
Yeah.
Oh, you have to tell us who.
The list is obvious.
I could see this going a lot of ways, actually.
Yeah, I mean, there's a long list.
Yeah, you can't say that and then not name names.
Off the air.
We'll discuss.
We'll have a good discussion.
Well, by the way,
Does Trey Avery come up this week at any point? Come up today?
By the way,
Zach Cunningham came up.
So I'm going to say this because Vrabel said this, because I'm not worried about whatever the hell you have going on. I texted Vrabel jokingly, like when he's going to come on our show. He's like, the only thing I'm doing this week is Kuharsky's podcast.
Well,
he would not come on the Robby and Rexrode program.
I negotiated very hard to go up there. I was trying to go up there.
So you didn't?
He ultimately said no.
Oh, what? Okay, so I thought it actually
You
was
thought it was
happening.
real?
Yeah. Well, I sent him. I did a laughing, crying emoji back to him, like, "Oh yeah, sure." And then it was like, "Is
No
this
answer.
real?
Just dropped off.
Is this
He
real?"
likes to just drop
He
off.
just
on
leaves
those
you
texts. Yeah, you don't know when the text chain is finished
Yeah.
until 20 minutes later
you-
when he hasn't responded to the last thing. And then you're like, oh, we were done.
But you know what's disappointing is that he might actually think that I was trying to get him on the show. I don't want him on this show. I was just
I'm
joking.
going to text him before
Stay the hell
conference.
away from our show,
I'm
Vrabel.
going to text him and have him say, where's Joe? during the
Yeah, there you go.
conference
Joe
call.
is.
Yeah.
He did a great thing with it. He brought back one of his great hits on the is it important or is it
I was good. I
Yeah.
saw that.
Yeah.
Saw that.
Yeah.
Good rant, Joe, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this rant's
Enjoyed
great.
it.
All right, so look, this is my rant is this. I think that Titans Twitter might be as dumb as Pred's Facebook.
Oh, it's worse.
Well, but
I
Pred,
don't know.
do
And
you
not knowing Pred's Facebook
Pred's
at all.
Facebook.
Pred's
pretty rough.
Facebook is like, we need Wayne Gretzky. I mean, it's like, it's bad. Like, they know like
Is
three
Mike
hockey
Fisher
players.
going to get in the Hall of Fame? When are they retiring David Lequan's jersey?
I mean, it's
He was
bad.
here for a long time and was a slightly above average hockey player.
But I got to say, Titans Twitter lately, and a lot of it has to do with your thing with Amy, it's disappointing, okay? So I got this. I found this. I hate the For You thing, the For You thing can
Oh, God.
be a real
I mean,
problem.
you get stuck on that. And you go, oh, I got to get in this other
I got to get on
column.
the following. Right. So someone tweeted out like some clips. Mike Silver had a good story. For people who don't know, Mike Silver came here to do a story on Cam Ward.
Yes.
This is how dysfunctional the Titans are. Like, yeah, come on now, do a story on Cam Ward. Great. And then it's like,
Spent time with Callahan, doubtlessly.
right. But then it's like, then 2 days later, they fire the coach. I was like, well, the story just changed.
Yeah.
So he got some good stuff. And, the stuff about, the Raiders guy ripping the Titans and then the stuff with Simmons in the practice. So this Cameron Simler on Twitter says, how does the Titans local media not get scoops like this? Which of course is already triggering for me. I mean, it's just like this guy came, did a good story, got a couple nuggets, and it's like, so like the comments.
How does Mike Silver not get that Femi Oladejo has a leg fracture?
Yeah. You got there, yeah? No, I know. It's like
nothing you do.
I'm defending you here. It's insane. Let's see. I mean, let me. Okay, here we go.
Or that Bill Callahan is out. How did he not get that?
Yeah, I'm defending you, man. Like, though, yeah, that's actually stuff that you're trying to find out when you cover a beat. Whereas, again, good story by Silver, but it's like, so let's see. Barney and friends too busy wondering where the owner is hanging out. Like I am a fan, they suck. Riley, they're too busy complaining about literally anything, arguing amongst each other. I mean, there were some really good ones here that I'm not coming across. Let's see. They do. They just chose not to report it in fear the team will pull their credentials.
That's my favorite.
That's ridiculous. The team has never pulled the credential. I've been with the team since 1996. They've never pulled the credential.
Too busy being mad. Too busy being mad. The owner won't talk to them. LOL. They're too busy complaining about press conferences. Too busy complaining about nonsense. But yeah, you go through. I do like this one. Hold on, I gotta find this one.
So dumb.
Paul what is it? Paul. We have Paul Kuharsky and Jarrett Stuhlman.
Yeah, to group us together is hysterical because Stuhlman at 7:30 p.m. is too busy watching TV to come out to the press.
Stuhlman's a new one. We've never actually
That's
done
a good
that.
one. Stuhlman.
But again, I've already like yelled about this, but like I can't understand any of you who don't don't have any desire like for the owner of the team to be accountable. I just like that. There were other comments in that thread, and I've seen it everywhere where Titans fans are pissed about like, why are you asking about the owner? And I understand if people hate you personally, that's fine, understandable, admirable even, but like how are people mad about you asking that question? It really is mind-boggling.
Also, just for accuracy's sake, when Mike Silver or somebody of his ilk comes to town, do you know where he goes to like get the lay of the land before he starts having his conversation?
Yeah, local reporter.
In the press room,
yeah,
where
absolutely.
he's got people that he's known over the years. His network is great sources around the league and the beat guys around the league.
Yeah. Let's quickly head to our phone line. Welcome in Ed in New Jersey to the program. Ed, good morning. Thank you for waiting. Go ahead.
Hey, good morning, guys. I want to challenge the idea that this isn't an attractive job, because didn't we have this same conversation last year about the GM search? You know, we wound up with a leading candidate from a great organization, and we also wound up with about 6 or 18 other GMs in that building as well. So, I mean, an NFL head coaching job is attractive to a lot of people. And I think it's way blown out of proportion of how attractive it is, this organization and what they're getting into, maybe for selected candidates. But we've had this conversation before, and I don't know. I just think it's way overblown. I want to get your thoughts on it.
Here's where I am on it. And I've said that for a long time. I've agreed with the caller for a long, long time. But they've now fired 4 people in 4 years.
Yeah.
And I think it's a great job if you're a guy that wants to work briefly and collect checks for a long time. If that's what you aspire to, it's terrific. But if you want guaranteed longevity where you're going to get a chance for a long-term project, which it's going to be to take things over, I think you're thinking, if I've got an alternative to this, the alternative is probably better.
Yeah.
You have to believe completely in Cam Ward, who is drifting on virtually every play from a good pocket to behind the guard, falling backwards while he throws and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And in Amy Adams-Strunk being patient.
We will get into more of that coming up next. Lots more coming with Kuharsky. A lot of things to get into on the Brian Callahan front. By the way, Vrabel's coming to town this week too, so we'll get into all that. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game.
Stand back. There's a hurricane coming through.
Paul Kuharsky from paulkuharsky.com, brought to you by Jimmy Kelly's Steakhouse and Sealmaster. He is with us the next hour, talking all things Tennessee Titans. What a week it's been. So, PK, let's just start with the firing of Callahan, the timing of it all. You know, Monday comes around, they lose to the Raiders. Callahan's shown the door, and then a few hours later, they finally named Mike McCoy the interim head coach. They had the press conference at 7:30 at night, which tells me, we talked about the next day, tells me this is an Amy thing, and Amy decided that she had had enough of Brian Callahan, and then Borgonzi, Brinker basically went into scramble mode after that and started to put together the plan of how they were going to proceed. How do you view it? How do you view the timing and how this decision came to be from on the Brian Callahan standpoint?
I mean, I don't think it matters that they used the whole day, really, and that it took till 4:00 for them to meet with the coaches and have McCoy meet with the coaches. But I do think it says that they didn't have a plan. And if they didn't have a plan, it's because Amy came in and told them what was what. I mean, I think it's very rare to send out the statement that you're firing the coach without naming the interim coach as part of it.
How rare is it to have a press conference, a late night press conference? Let's do a primetime presser.
Very.
I mean, what
rare.
the hell?
Very.
You can't tell me. Yeah, people can't sit here and tell me that. Like, oh yeah, this is all how they planned it.
No, very rare, and tells you how much prep time they need to get ready for that press conference, where Borgonzi was reluctant to speak. Chad had to nudge him, and look, they sit there and take the body blows, and they did it. You know, one of the guys who writes analytically about the Titans, I think from afar, said, you know, he's surprised at the tone, as if we were like anti Callahan firing. And I don't think that's why the tone.
That's
was
what Dennis
it was.
just asked. He said, is PK saying the team should have been more patient with Callahan? Is that what you're saying, PK?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying I'm surprised at the switch based on what I knew of what their plan was. And that's another reason I think it was Amy. But I think
the front office did not want to do this.
No. But I think the tone of the
point,
press conference from the press's point of view is, here are these two guys finally who we haven't talked to. We're talking about all the dysfunction and the contradictions like you're talking about. The front office didn't want to do this. The person who's doing it is not here. Where is she? And a lot of questions that may have seemed like they're about Callahan, but really were about continued dysfunction for the organization. And now we finally have you two. That's the tone.
It's the two things being true thing that we talk about all
People
the time.
really struggle with.
Yes, Brian Callahan was doing a poor job and was going to be fired at some point, deserved to be fired. Okay. Also, this is a next step in dysfunction, and the owner is the problem. Like, both of these things completely coexist with no issue at all.
Correct.
But I somehow there's a disconnect with some.
And people don't get it. And look, the front runner thing, you know, Amy had no problem being out there signing your sweaty visor at tailgates when things were good. How you're okay with her fading into oblivion now is beyond me.
What did you make of McCoy being named the interim head coach? I mean, from the surface, it makes sense, right? Like, he's been a head coach before. You're not disrupting the normal jobs of the other guys who at this point know that they're probably looking for a new job at the end of the year. What did you make of McCoy being the selection?
I was a little bit surprised because he's the newest and he hasn't been around for a lot of this. I understand there's big roster turnover, but there's a big thing that he's taking over, and he's only been part of 6 games of it, and hasn't had a media presence. We don't
introduce himself to the players today. Hi, guys.
Yeah, we don't.
My name's Mike.
Yeah,
I'm Coach Mike.
The defense probably doesn't really know him at all. You know, a lot of people have said, well, you're not disrupting Denard on defense. You're not disrupting Fossil. I mean, I think Fossil from what I was told in investigating, could have easily handled special teams with Renee Stewart, his deputy. Look, it's not like you're disrupting some well-oiled machine on special teams, maybe, but they had a bad game this last game. You're not disrupting some well-oiled machine, and bringing in an interim coach is in itself a disruption. You want it to be disruptive to a degree, but McCoy was good with us. Wants incremental game-to-game improvement. Spoke well of his intentions with Cam Ward. I'm scared, of the big press conference where they, I understand putting all your resources into Mike McCoy now, but stop short of making it like you want to make him the can. If they hire Mike McCoy after this season, barring the most remarkable turnaround in NFL history, when the whole world of coaching possibilities is open to them, that would be another big marker in dysfunction.
I want to save that, and I want to compare it to what you must have absolutely said on the air exactly 10 years ago when Mike Mularkey came in. Is that right? I mean, you must have said the exact same thing, right?
Sure.
Is it a crazy idea that Amy might be a little enamored? This McCoy guy, he seems to know what he's doing.
I think she's further along.
Mularkey went 2-7, right?
I think,
and got the job.
I think Brinker and Borgonzi are further along and more empowered than Rustin Webster was, who I believe was the GM at the time, and also tagged to be next out in a pretty quick fashion. And she really, she didn't know what she's doing, but she really didn't know what she was doing at that time and had no success. At least now.
She's been around.
She knows what success.
She's done stuff.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
She had a period of success with people that she hired.
We got a lot more to get to with PK, including the Chad Brinker part of this that I want to focus on coming up next. We'll get into that. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode. Paul Kuharsky with us for the rest of the show, talking all things Tennessee Titans in the aftermath of the firing of Brian Callahan. PK, I think a lot of Titans fans look at the situation that's gone down. 4 firings in 4 years, as you pointed out. Chad Brinker's been here for a lot of it. He's been here through the Carthon experience at the end of the Vrabel tenure. Carthon gets fired last year. Now Callahan fired. And the question that comes up is, how has Chad Brinker insulated himself through all this? How has he been able to just basically not only survive, but thrive through all this? So what's your, I guess, read on that?
Before you answer, other than because he's helped by the cover of his media friends, such as yourself. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, the shape of his job technically makes him responsible for things that are not things you get fired for. He's in charge. I understand he's involved in personnel, but true or not, he can say Rand Carthon drafted and signed those people. Mike Borgonzi drafted and signed those people. I am in charge of all of the football things that are not personnel. The turf in the bubble, the overseeing the operations department that gets us to and from road games. Ultimately the stadium and then the new stadium and our football operations into and out of the stadium. And it's a beautiful job description for not being in charge of, even though technically he's got final say. I don't think he's laying down the hammer and using it in a way, in a smart way, because it protects him from accountability.
So just not doing anything means you're fine.
Not doing anything that is quote unquote frontline important.
Like all the stuff you're talking about there, that's not the person who should be at the press conference talking about these big moves. And then go.
He's in charge of
Fix the
Borgonzi.
freaking security cameras.
He's in
What,
charge
the sprinkler
of Borgonzi.
system. I mean, this is ridiculous.
I don't disagree, but he's in charge of Borgonzi, but he's not Borgonzi.
The bubble's looking good over there. It's a good looking bubble they got.
You know, guys, I think we need more flair.
I'm just
Employees,
saying
let's
that's
wear
what
more
the,
flair.
I'm just saying that's what the structure and the job description is.
Okay, so let's build on that, because I think now there's a natural assumption that Callahan is gone, that the next person on the chopping block is him, right? Like, it's got to be Brinker, right?
And it may well be.
But I
think
the sprinkler's working.
I think
it's not their fault they're losing.
He's endeared himself to Amy better than anybody who's been through, probably better than anybody since early John Robinson, right? What does that buy you? You know? And then what does Kenneth think? What does Bryce Wasserman think? And I think Bryce Wasserman is probably pretty tight with Chad Brinker. I think Brinker's probably done the Wasserman thing well, which is important. You know, what are those?
For those who don't know, that's Amy's son-in-law.
Right. And Wasserman is Brinker's chief of staff. So his right-hand man. How is that relationship? All these things keep people employed.
Fans, please buy season tickets to the new stadium. We fired Brian Callahan. Everything's
How about
well.
that?
All is well.
How about that, salesman?
That's pretty good. I got a lot of respect for that.
I mean,
you told me if we fired the coach.
I imagine that that guy kept a file of everybody that said, if you fire Callahan, and he went and sent those.
I agree.
To everybody.
How many people are like, okay, actually, I meant and Brinker.
Yeah. And win some games after you fire.
Add him.
I bet he
Then
got
I'll
a few,
buy it.
though. I bet he got a few to do it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, he probably did.
It's good stuff.
You got me. Okay, here's $5,000.
You're right. I did say that. You're right. Let's head back to our phone.
Honey, I've got to write a big check today.
The sales guy called me back. They fired the coach.
He got me. I said something I shouldn't have said.
Let's welcome Roy in Franklin to the program. Roy, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Guys, been a fan for a long time of this team, and the last 4, 5, 6 years, it's just been one big carnival. I don't even know if you want to call it a carnival. It may be a country fair where the coaches seem that we bring in and or the GMs where they can't win that game that's rigged. With that being said, is there a coach? I know there's plenty out there, there's offensive coordinators and former coaches that are sitting out there just waiting to have their name called to try to win that great prize at the fair. But is there a coach that's on our current roster, NFL team, that's on the chopping block, or a guy that you would probably don't expect to get canned, and if he does get canned because of the loss of the playoffs or just their team implodes, what guy is currently an NFL head coach that you could possibly see get chopped that may have a shot here to win the great prize at the carnival? Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Roy. Appreciate the call.
Wilson County Fair.
I mean,
AKA
the Jets
Tennessee Titans.
Jets are the worst team in the league. They just hired a coach. The Saints are one of the worst teams in the league. They just hired a coach. Those guys, Panthers, maybe a little better than we thought. They're in the second year with the coach. So those guys aren't getting fired, and they wouldn't necessarily be top of the list. People are dreaming when they say Kevin Stefanski, who would be snatched up in a minute. People are dreaming when they say Mike Tomlin, who would be snatched up by a better team in a minute. People would fire their coach to hire Mike Tomlin. When they say Harbaugh from Baltimore, there's no way the Ravens, after one bad season, they're going to reset a little bit. And the guy who's going to help them reset is their head coach, who's a great head coach. There's no way they're firing him. Stop listing these names who aren't getting Dan Campbell, loses a game and people are like, oh, he's going to get fired. The Titans should hire him.
No, but I mean, I agree. I don't think Harbaugh, but I mean, like, people in the league are talking about it. Maybe it's silly. I agree, but I don't think, that's not like the same thing as Dan Campbell and Tomlin. I mean, they're probably going to win the division.
The division stinks.
Yeah.
Look, the one thing
going into the year, I don't think that was a crazy idea, was it? Aaron Rodgers.
What do I care?
Is it crazy?
Well, let's talk about what 6 weeks ago was possible.
Okay.
Instead of what's
You don't think
possible
that
now.
moving forward that Aaron Rodgers could falter and they can start losing some games? I mean, it's, Stefanski certainly could be
just
fired.
not firing him.
But this is
firing Stefanski would be so dumb.
I'm not. I agree, but it's
and
the
also,
Browns.
they would take.
They're dumb.
They would take. He would get a better job.
No, that I agree.
They would all get better jobs.
Well, that kind of goes back to Ed's question, right? Like, it's not like this is an unattractive. It's 1 of 32, but the whole thing is, okay, what jobs are open and who's available, and the Titans are going to be low.
Are you
low
going
in
to
the pecking
be able
order.
to get your best candidate? That's what it comes down to.
What jobs are opening? I need to look at the standings.
I mean, Miami is going to open.
Better job.
Yeah. Like, I don't think the Jets will fire Aaron Glenn
The
for 1 year,
Giants
but
could
my
still
God,
open.
Giants, yep.
Giants
could
could
still
definitely
open.
still open.
I mean,
And there'll be
I
a
don't
couple
think
more.
Jackson. I don't think Jackson Dart is what he appears to be. But better job. Ownership, non-meddling ownership. Just off that, right?
Would Cincy make a change?
I don't think Cincy will make a change.
They deserve to be mentioned.
Yeah,
Arizona is possible.
Arizona's making a change, I think. Better job.
I mean, I've heard people talk about maybe
equal
maybe
job.
Carroll just needs to,
at the very least.
there'll be a surprise in there.
Yeah.
There'll be some jobs open, and again, like you said, it's not like the Titans are going to find a head coach. But are you going to be able to come away with your top candidate?
I suspect a low turnover year, though. I'm scanning through the standings. Yeah, there'll be a surprise, but it's not a 7 or 8.
You wouldn't
job
think it'd be a
year.
bloodbath. There's a lot of pretty new coaches.
Yeah.
Like, the bloodbaths have been happening sometimes. So maybe that would benefit the Titans if it's only 3 or 4 other jobs they're competing with.
Yeah. But the other thing is, the guy you ideally want is unfortunately in the mold of Callahan, though hopefully he's called plays. But I feel like that group has been hired, and you need a couple years of those guys reemerging. They've either been hired or they've been slowicked.
That's right. I mean, Joe Brady is
Joe Brady's
going to get a
got
job.
He's
He's very young. Boy, like 32.
Also,
35.
he's bounced
Okay.
around an awful lot. His best work's been with the MVP. I'm a little skeptical of Joe Brady.
Yeah, but I
36,
think
sorry.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, wow. I just remember. Yeah, I guess when they won it all, I thought he was in his 20s.
Again,
LSU.
terrific coordinator.
Yeah.
Needs to convince you that he's a CEO.
Let's welcome in Dr. Locke to the program. Dr. Locke, thank you for calling in.
What's up, fellas? How you doing this morning?
Good.
I mean, this is it's kind of a joke. I mean, if you're looking at it, we have the worst job to offer if you're an up and coming coach and you can get, or you're a coach that can get any job, you're not choosing the Titans that have an owner that can't stay in her lane. She needs to go make the other owners a sandwich. I'm sorry, sweetie. You suck at your job. She's terrible. She's god awful.
She's terrible and she's god awful. There's no reason to go the other direction you went there.
Right. It doesn't matter. I mean, come on. I mean, look, we have a bunch of no everybody there that can keep a job. The only people that can keep a job in an organization are people with no balls. It's Chad Brink.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Locke, for the call. Learn how to call into a radio show.
Getting a little on the edge there. Let me ask you this question, PK, from Will on Music Row. Are these fair statements? Amy fired J-Rob out of embarrassment. 1. 2. Amy fired Vrabel because he wasn't nice enough in the building. I'm going to say
partly.
No, I mean, but
partly.
3. Rand and Callahan got fired because she was again embarrassed. If that's the case,
well, she embarrassed by hiring a guy that wasn't qualified and Rand Carthon. She embarrassed herself.
Yeah. Is she capable of making football decisions? Or are we subject to her reputation decisions? I mean,
she's not capable of making football decisions, and she doesn't have anybody good to help her make football decisions.
So other than that, it's going great for the Titans.
That's great. I mean, am I wrong?
No.
Hey, just because we haven't checked in on this, Titans offense, 32nd in yards, 31st in passing yards, 31st in rushing yards, 31st in scoring, 32nd in third down defense, but 25th in the red zone.
Hey, red zone's looking good. Red zone looking a little better out there.
I mean, I hadn't looked at that in a while. You know it's terrible, but when you go and dig up those numbers, you're like, holy hell.
That's why the coach got fired. Well, more with Paul Kuharsky coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Paul Kuharsky with us from paulkuharsky.com, talking all things Tennessee Titans.
Joe just recorded a spot during that commercial. Really well done.
Thank you.
Can't wait to hear it on air.
Yep.
Sounded good.
One heck of a pitch man right here. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you.
Sounded good.
People will be buying that product in droves.
They will. Let's welcome in Adam in Portland to the program on our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Adam, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Well, I'm not going to say crazy things that gets me kicked off. I just say things you don't like, Joe. No,
we didn't kick you off. Did we kick him off?
No, I just kicked off the last guy.
No, you kicked off the last guy. That's what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
So here's my thing, man. So Brinker, he's like the typical guy at every job that everybody looks at and goes, how did he get that job?
We got
and then
Morse
you
code
realize
going
that,
on.
like, he knows where the bodies are buried, man. That's what it is. Like, he's got something on somebody probably. But the only thing I've seen impressive that the administration's done is this past draft class, which we know was Borgonzi and not Brinker. And the way we know that is because Brinker told you that. Brinker was the one who said, I can go take meetings while this guy makes draft picks. So I fully believe that Brinker had nothing to do with this class. So I think he's the next one to fall, man. Like, if not, then Amy's she's smitten by him. Like, there's something with him on a personal level, but professionally, she's clouded with who this guy actually is. Because I don't think he had anything to do with the draft class.
Well, if he didn't have anything to do with the draft class,
fighting an android
then
in there.
If he didn't have anything to do with the draft class, you want him fired so that he doesn't have any hand in hiring the next coach? Is that the rationale for firing him? I'm asking.
Well, I guess if he didn't have anything to do with any of this stuff, why is he the president of football operations?
I mean, that's one of the main reasons people want to talk to Amy Adams Strunk to me. What Chad Brinker's now been in this role for some time. And since he's been hired, we've never gotten an answer from the highest up as to
what's he doing?
Why she likes him so
much. Why do you like him so much? And by the way, there's been a whole lot of losing that's gone on at the same time.
But real quick though, just before we continue, so has Adam been like AI all along? Did we just find out that he's a robot?
Yeah, is that Morse code in the background? Did he send out a message? Anybody who knows Morse code, any military people out there, or
what was the
could have been our phones?
Message?
Could have been our phones.
Maybe we just sent out something terrible.
Don't know.
I hope nothing bad happens.
Well, let's check the phone line again. Let's see if Larry has the same issues.
Larry, no Morse code, please.
Good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Gentlemen, thank you for taking my call. I hope you guys are all doing well on this beautiful Wednesday morning.
Thank you.
Terrific.
And you sound good. I don't hear any beeps.
No beeps. My dog might bark here in a second, but other than that, my question for you guys is a little different from what we've been talking about here, but it's a hypothetical question. If Will Levis had not been injured, had not had a shoulder problem, surgery, and if he would have went into this season as our backup quarterback to Cam Ward, do you think he would have played by now?
I doubt it.
You guys have
people would be talking about it.
People would be talking about it. But the kid's got to take his lumps.
Thank you, Larry.
He's got to go through it. I put up I spent some time. I am so bad at StatHead. I'm an ambassador for StatHead, but I don't know how to use the damn thing. It took me forever to come up with this. But here are the quarterbacks. Here are the quarterbacks for in the league since 2000 who have put up a 55% completion percentage or worse in their first 6 games starting as a rookie. Andrew Luck, Mark Sanchez, Carson Palmer, Kyle Bowler, David Carr.
Some of those names are good.
Andrew Luck and Carson Palmer, big-time quarterbacks. Mark Sanchez went to a couple AFC championship games. That gives me a little hope on Cam. I thought this list was going to stink.
Yeah.
It does not stink.
No, that's a good point. I mean, look, that's going to have to come up at some point.
Oh, it's got to come up.
Significantly. Now, they tried this last game, and it did come up the last game, and they were throwing everything at the line of scrimmage, and it just did not go well. So I'm interested to see how that goes.
I mean, he's drifting. He's falling backwards when he throws, and his feet are just terrible. Yeah. I don't understand how it could be that bad when you have to be drilling him constantly on these things. it's like you get into a game and you just forget everything you've discussed and worked on.
That's he's not the first person that's happened to, right? I mean, that's.
But when you're watching it up close, it just drives you insane. I can only imagine what the coaches, who are, responsible for this and clearly are drilling him on these things when they're watching it, and then they're watching the tape and saying, geez, we spent all day Wednesday talking
Will
about
Levis
this
is
stuff.
a great practice player, great film guy. And he goes out in the field and whatever happens. Speaking of Cam, I did want to ask about the quote, because I've seen different interpretations of it from the Mike Silver piece, which is, I love the quote. It was like, basically, when I start playing
the way I want,
the rest of the league is farted.
Yeah. Opening for a lot of.
I didn't take it initially.
Playing well,
yeah,
versus playing in the style of my choosing.
Exactly.
I take it as playing well.
But when you do read the actual words, you could, I guess, take it that way.
Yeah. I took it more as the playing well too. Like when I figure it out,
playing the quality.
I think that's what it's got to be too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he would not be calling out the coach and the system to that level. He's been very candid at the microphone. If there was a hint of that, we would have heard it already.
And today he's obviously going to talk, right?
Yes.
It'll be very interesting, to hear what he says about Callahan's firing.
Yeah.
6 games into his rookie season.
And Mike McCoy is changing what has been the standing practice since Mike Vrabel's been the head coach, and will speak after practice.
There we go. I like it.
Yeah.
What do you make of the idea of a Mike McCarthy being the next Titans head coach?
I mean, I think they can do worse, certainly. He's run successful operations. He's worked with, good quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers, he came in second year.
I believe so, yes.
So, I mean, if that's right, he certainly had a lot to do with Aaron Rodgers' development. Dak Prescott was already good when he got there. My fear about him is that he's a little bit of a dinosaur. I think it was the first year with the Cowboys, and they showed him showing Austin Powers clips in a team meeting. Now, Austin Powers is a generation or two removed from those guys, and I think he was acting like, we all get this, right? We're all of the same comedic generation.
I say the kids need to learn the classics.
I do too, but that's
think whatever you
don't
want.
have that much teaching time. And I just thought it was a complete and
off-season
utter disconnect that seemed to fall entirely flat. These guys were like, what is this?
Oh, instead of playing tag under Callahan, they could just go watch Austin Powers together in the offseason.
Yeah. The other thing, I mean, I kind of like him, but I don't love him, and I don't think that he should be automatic. So, maybe the other thing I was thinking today, just as a random thing, I was feeling very sorry today for people on the Titans staff, like Peyton McCollum, the assistant quarterbacks coach, or somebody we've probably never talked about, the defensive quality control coach, Dylan Autrinreth.
Boy, this is fascinating.
These guys scored all of this competition all summer, every day. Oh, that's a bad incompletion. Oh, that guy bobbled that ball. -3, +2. Their whole lives were based on this competition, the 8-team thing. And it was, by everybody's account, the biggest pain in the ass. And all they did was push it down to the lowest ranking guys. Now, the lowest ranking guys do a lot of dirty work, but this was a special brand of dirty work. And these guys wake up or get to work on Monday and find out the guy they did all this work for is gone. And all of that competition, team building stuff.
It's all for naught.
If it didn't have any bearing on making the team better, it didn't save the coach's job.
Does he get to take the data with him, or is that Titans property?
Intellectual property. I mean, someday it'll be fine. Thousands of years from now, somebody will find that the Jeff Simmons team won, even though he wasn't there.
Yeah,
I need you
it's
guys.
Amazing.
I need you guys to react. A listener sent this on the text line. It's a truly amazing photo, and I need you to look at this before you go.
The Bravester.
This guy's like me and my wife sharing a dart with the greatest coach ever.
Tailgating.
Is Vrabel still smoking cigarettes like he thinks it's freaking 1992?
I spent time with him in the combine, and he was.
God, Vrabel, get your head out of your ass and stop smoking cigarettes.
I mean, who told the story? I think Bobby Carpenter told the story that like he was at Ohio State working out. This was after his career was over.
Yeah.
And he would, smoke a cigarette and then beat everybody in the running.
I mean, seriously,
That they would do.
It works.
This dude should have played in the NFL in 1952. Him and Len Dawson over there with their darts. Like, you're Vrabel, you're like 50, dude. Stop smoking.
He's coming to town this weekend.
His lungs are probably perfect.
They probably
That's
are.
the kind of guy he is.
Probably
man.
are.
He goes to the
Vrabel?
doctor and he expects him to tell him to stop smoking, and the doctor doesn't even say anything.
Vrabel coming to town this
Looks
weekend.
beautiful, Mike.
How do we think that's
Great
going to
lunch.
go? And what do we think Titans fans think about how this has all gone down since his firing? We'll get into all that. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Final segment of the day, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Paul Kuharsky with us here on the program. Rexrode, another great job in the break there.
Yeah, thanks. I'm
just killing it. He's just recording so many spots. It's falling into money.
It reminds me of my favorite ad, Little Chocolate Donuts. Jim Belushi sitting there with a cigarette at the table. That's Vrabel. Hey, I'm a great athlete, Mike Vrabel. Enjoy some delicious Virginia Slims 120s. Vrabel, I used to enjoy the delicious taste of a Camel Light in like 1994, dude. Quit being a loser. Now I'm calling out all smokers. But we should all know that you can't smoke cigarettes anymore, right?
Which one of you has gout?
Do you know he doesn't have gout?
Pretty sure.
Does a lot of running.
Really? You've got his whole medical, how close are you with Vrabel? How far up his ass are you, Paul?
Not that close.
Okay. But you don't know he doesn't have gout.
I don't.
I mean, I'd rather
I'm guessing. I think he's pretty healthy outside of the cigarette.
I'd rather have gout than black lungs.
I don't know.
You're not sure?
I mean, the way you describe gout, it sounds
but he did compare it to brain cancer at one point.
And I had to make an apology on the station's behalf. That was an ugly day.
That is absolute slander.
I know about brain cancer. He slandered brain cancer.
Vrabel coming to town this weekend. I believe they're a 7.5 point favorite now. Started at 6.5, so I believe they're a 7.5 point favorite now.
That's a significant point.
That is a significant point. There's no doubt about that. Look, I know that they fired Brian Callahan, and maybe there's a short interim head coaching bump that's coming for the Tennessee Titans. I still think that the Patriots are going to come in here and absolutely smack the Titans this week. And Paul, what do you think?
I have said from the beginning, I think there'll be blood stains left on the Titans' artificial turf, and I hope they're prepared to clean that because they have other games on there. Mike Vrabel's going to come here and destroy. And I don't predict games generally unless I have a strong feeling.
We didn't predict games.
The Patriots are going to destroy the Titans.
Go
ahead, Joe. Suck up to the local team.
A wet, sloppy day. You get the interim coach. Everybody's pissed off. The coach got fired. Everybody's sick of it. Sick of this crap. 98, sick of this crap. Drake May turns it over here and there. Vrabel's out there. He's got smoke billowing in front of his face. I mean, I feel like there could be some chaos. I feel like this could be way more interesting than most people do.
What other play? So you're predicting an interesting game? Who wins that?
I predict games on Fridays.
Oh, okay. We're just saving it.
But right now, I think the Titans.
Joe thinks the Titans win this game.
I am sensing a Vrabel special. And remember, there's two kinds of Vrabel specials.
There are.
There's the games he shouldn't win that he wins, and the games he shouldn't lose that he loses. And I think this might be a Vrabel special.
Which Titan besides Jeff Simmons are you imagining stepping up for this big occasion?
Peter Skoronski, Cam Ward, Tony Pollard, Chigakonkwo did some good things last week. Yeah. I'm naming football players.
You are.
They play for the Titans.
PK, as you know, I mean, a divisive end of the tenure for Mike Vrabel when he got fired. A lot of Titans fans happy to see him go. A lot of Titans fans mad to see him go. How do you feel like the vibe on Vrabel has shifted? Do you feel like it's shifted in the aftermath of all this? And how many Titans fans are hoping that he comes in here and destroys them to shove it to Amy?
I think there are two segments. Some that say, hey, Callahan was bad, but that doesn't forgive Vrabel's last 2 years and he deserved it. They just did a bad job replacing him. And others who think, he never should have been fired in the first place. And that's what has kept them on this road. We're talking about, or I'm talking about, Harbaugh in Baltimore, reaches a point where they're having a bad season. Who knows if it's 2 bad seasons? And I don't think there's any question that Baltimore stays the course with their guy. And I tend to think Vrabel, they should have put a governor on him in terms of his desire for more personnel power. I don't think he demanded complete personnel control the way some people do.
He asked.
Right. But not getting it doesn't mean like I've asked for promotions at jobs before. Then you don't get the promotion or the raise, and then you go back to work.
Never complain about it all in your case, I'm sure. Right?
Well, that's one thing to complain about. It's another thing to be out of work and to break your contract. So I think he should have remained the head coach here, and I think things would be in a much better place if he was.
It's going to be interesting to see how it goes this weekend. What's the crowd going to look like, do we think?
Yeah, and will they?
Has the fan base been reinvigorated?
More fans say, like Adam said yesterday, like more. He's like, okay, now I don't have to root against the Titans because I wanted Callahan gone, and he's fired. I still think, Paul, that a lot of people are going to be like, I want Amy to be embarrassed, and so I want like the season's lost. I want the number 1 pick. I want Amy to be embarrassed and somehow decide she needs to relinquish control and let Kenneth take over. Whatever. How many people you feel like are in that boat?
I don't know. It just runs so counter to me. I can't recall. And the Yankees had some terrible times where I wanted Steinbrenner
Yankees
down.
Fandom is like they win all the time.
I'm just saying. Well, they had bad stretches where you wanted Steinbrenner out, right? But I couldn't root against them. It just runs against your nature as a fan.
You're too positive.
I can't relate.
You're too much of a sunshiny guy.
I can't relate to those fans who root.
But
for
you
their
know they
teams
exist
to lose. Yeah, I'm shocked.
When it's this bad,
I'm shocked by how
bad?
many of them exist. Don't block the box. Be sure to lock your locks. This was an excellent show by all 3 of us, and you're welcome.
Yes. That does it for us today. Back tomorrow at 6 a.m. Next Man Up with Jake Lyman and Corey Curtis coming up next. You're listening to 102.5 The Game.